good, no worries.
And we're live from Richmond, BC for the finals of the Juniors Rain Invite.
We are live indeed. Welcome inside, welcome to the South Arm Park in Richmond, BC on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Musqueam peoples. You are watching the 2026 Rain Invite presented by Vancouver Ultimate. And Jagran Zully joined alongside Justin Luna. We have Theo in the producer's chair, Matthew on camera. It's the final, the grand final of this junior bracket. Two teams that are looking to walk away with the Rain Invite glory. What are you anticipating in this matchup here?
Well, it was a little slow to start off with the semifinals between Point Grey and I believe it was Burnaby South there, but this game has already gone off to a very quick start with Hamber punching in the first goal already within the first 15-20 seconds. Eric Hamber in the light and Point Grey in the dark.
Well, that is one way to start off a finals matchup. An early lead here for Eric Hamber, who are not just in the final for the junior division, but the senior A division as well. And I have to still see how the senior B final played out. It seems like the senior B final is going to be Delta taking on Mosscrop, as Mosscrop, they defeated Bing 13-1, and Delta defeated Palmer 13-2. It's a battle of two titans over there in the senior B division. But looking at this junior division final here, Hamber and Point Grey. Hamber defeating Bing 9-6, and then Point Grey defeating Burnaby South by 6-4 score. What sort of game, obviously aside from the start here, Justin, can you anticipate for this one?
Well, these two teams have a long history. I used to go to Point Grey, and we've had numerous battles with Eric Hamber, and recently, just in this tournament, Point Grey beat Eric Hamber in the crossover 9-8. So they've already had a really close game, and I'm sure they know what each other are doing and how this game will unfold.
Of course, the 1-0 lead here for Hamber over Point Grey. Here is the pull. Oh no, what a pull there. Lots of speed behind that one there, and we'll see Point Grey immediately begin on offense. A lot of these names familiar to us, at least. A lot of these players familiar to us from the earlier Point Grey matchup that you and I got to call. Disc has moved downfield. It'll end up back here into the hands of 23 for Point Grey. He'll move it across out to the far side. The pivot foot there, still established. Great pass right through the middle. Here's a chance towards the end zone, and that is incomplete. Great swat there by the Eric Hamber Arms, and it stays 1-0.
Right now, one of the things I'm seeing is Point Grey is moving the disc a lot better than versus their semifinal game, and we're seeing that movement here. We're seeing a lot more options in the end zone, and we're seeing some potentially scoring opportunities as well.
Of course, I believe because this is the championship game, the rules are a bit different. The games will be to 15 points. Halftime's at 8 points or the 55-minute mark, and the hard cap is at 85 minutes. So 10 extra added minutes in this one.
Yeah, those extra minutes could mean the difference between a win or a loss, and going to 15 just means the game gets a bit longer and the legs get a bit more tired.
So the disc is thrown back out to the near side. Of course, we see athletes with their, they're certainly supporting the battle scars here, to say the least. Arms and legs taped up, as the disc will end up all the way out to the far side. It's an incomplete pass, and Point Grey will pick it up here. As a great huck now towards the end zone, and that is incomplete. And as I said, the player is just willing to put it all on the line. We have the one player from Eric Hamber, her thigh is taped up, and she also has tape on her knees as well.
Yeah, really pushing through the pain there, and lots of injuries, but when it's the finals, you got to play through them all.
Here we go, back to live action. As the long huck thrown back down the other way. This is at center field. Oh, the one-handed catch is incomplete. As now Point Grey looking to push the pace here. As 23 will toss it to the end zone, and that is caught. And it will be a tie game here as Point Grey able to get the point back. It is 1-1.
Yeah, great execution there by number 23, able to slow down his momentum and put enough sauce on that throw for it to sit into the end zone and not go too far and out the back there.
So we indeed have a tie game here at 1. As Point Grey able to get the point back, and Eric Hamber now will have a 1-1 tie. They'll be back on offense, and you're seeing a lot of different club jerseys here between these two teams. I see Misfits, and I'm sure you can better identify it better than I can, but a lot of different club jerseys here between these two teams.
Yeah, we see Misfit and Mischief, which are the Vancouver club, and a bit of Blitz, but the only club I care about is Rain Ultimate, and if you want to sign up for these summer tryouts, go to vol.ca/rain for more information about that.
So is this tournament technically hosted by Rain?
That's correct, yes.
It is. Interesting.
So I'm doing a little bit of a scouting here. I am the head coach for Rain as well, so if you're hearing this broadcast and you want to play Ultimate this summer, sign up and I could be your coach.
There you go, free plug. What better than having Justin Luna as your head coach?
Oh, I can think of many, many better things than having Justin Luna as your head coach, but unfortunately, I'm the best you'll get.
Where do you guys play out of?
We play out of sometimes this field here, but most of the time Hugh Boyd Turf or Richmond High Secondary Turf. So very local.
Not too far from here.
Yeah, very local, very nice facilities to play in.
And the weather is much,
yes.
warmer in the summer.
Much warmer, much better. No pants, no long sleeves, mostly shorts. Shorts and T-shirts.
Point Grey and Eric Hamber tied at 1 here. Again, you're watching the 2026 Rain Invite on trickshotlive.com. A pleasure to have brought you 4 complete games and now this 5th one here so far today. And we will have one more as our main event of the evening will come up at 4 o'clock local time.
I really see this game being a lot more faster paced in the semifinal here. Everyone's just a lot more confident with the cuts, even though these teams have played before already.
Here we go back to live action as Hamber has possession of the disc. They'll try the foot pass up ahead, and that is incomplete. As the disc will now fall back here into the hands of I believe it is Point Grey who will get possession back. Took me a while to process that there. Long huck back down the other way. Here's a chance for number 0. What a catch! Incredible catch as Point Grey gets the break point, and they are up 2-1.
Excellent throw by number 23 and excellent closing speed by number 0 to secure that grab and get another point for Point Grey there.
I'll remember the battles he had with Burnaby South's number 14 in their semifinal matchup. He doesn't have to be battling against a tall man like that no more. A great catch. Talk about agility there, flying high up into the air and catching the disc there to give Point Grey a 2-1 lead.
Yes, definitely a little bit more comfortable, but now that he's the bigger person on the field, must have been pretty weird to be the smaller guy in that matchup, but now definitely playing a bit more to his strength. His speed and his height are definitely unrivaled right now in this matchup.
Keep in mind, folks, 1 timeout per half for both of these teams. They get a 90-second timeout. They get 1 floater timeout. No timeouts during cap time, too, so timeouts are limited, and once we hit that cap time, especially here in the championship moments, Justin, you got to think that the teams will just have to play it out.
Yes, this is going to be a long game for each one of them, and you got to play it to the final whistle. You never know what's going to happen. You may be down 5, you may be up 5, but that game could turn just as quick as it started.
So the coaches will give their instructions to both sides as we await the coaches to finish their explanations, which I'll remind you that JointWorks helps athletes recover faster, move better, and perform at their peak with expert rehab and performance care. Learn more at jointworks.ca.
And we're seeing a couple of the same players on for this Point Grey team here. A couple of them double shifting, even triple shifting, and we see the same thing for this Point Grey or this Eric Hamber line here. Now that it is the finals, these teams are no longer saving their legs for anything else, and they just have to pull it all out there and try to get this final win, which could give them the championship trophy.
So Eric Hamber, of course, these teams, they are co-ed teams after all, and with that, I know gender matching is something that teams do have to keep an eye on at all times. as we will take a look now at Hamber getting to set their offense up here. Far side of the field. Disc is swung back now to center. As we see there, a great pass on the other hand. He'll get it through to number 15 for Hamber. She'll send it upfield. Great pass down the sideline, gets through as it ends up back out to the far side. They're near the end zone, in the red zone now, and the pass is incomplete. And a great block there gets the applause of the coach for Point Grey. And we shall see Point Grey resume on offense here as number 0 will take possession up, moves to number 13. Number 23, rather. Keep in mind, Point Grey in the dark jerseys, and it is Eric Hamber in the light colored jerseys. Here's a huck down the other way to the field, and a great block by Eric Hamber. We'll take a look at the replay right here as you see the disc flip high up, and great agility there by the man of Eric Hamber to send it down. It's a 2-1 lead for Point Grey here. Of course, keep in mind, this game, this championship game specifically, is 85 minutes, not 75 minutes. So the disc is thrown downfield, and that is incomplete.
A little bit of a miscommunication there between the cutter and the handler. I do believe the cutter had that open space deep and wasn't willing to take it and just wanted the under instead.
And so possession will come back here with Point Grey. They'll move it up to the forehand, and that is high up in the air. It is caught. The clap catch is complete. As it'll come back downfield. Oh, just a tough break there for Point Grey's number 23. As he fell down as he tried to keep possession of the disc alive. Hamber will take back possession. They'll move it side to side. Good swing there upfield as Hamber will assess their options. Looking for an opening. Disc is played forward. A great catch there. Move now towards the end zone. An extra pass required. And we do have a call on the play.
I believe they're calling pick, so they weren't able to catch up to their player without going through a defender. And I believe another call. And disc is now in.
The disc is back to live action here as we'll see Hamber look to play it upfield. A good catch and a good pass there to the end zone. And Hamber has tied the game at 2.
Yeah, great location and tracking, seeing one of their players open in the end zone, even though it's not really their end zone system. Able to just knife a blade in there and able to come down with it.
And we'll take a look at the replay right there. A great throw on the forehand and a great one-handed catch in the end zone as well. And these teams going stride for stride so far in this one here, Justin.
Yeah, fast-paced game. Both of them are, well-oiled machines right now. Not a lot of mistakes, and we're really seeing the huck game open up right now, and we're seeing a lot of deep receivers get it.
Of course, 2-2 the score here, with this being the junior final of the Reign Invite. It seems like Point Grey is all good to go. We're still awaiting Hamber's coaches to finish up their explanations. See a game getting underway on the far side of the field as well. I believe that's the third place game between Byng and Burnaby South. Burnaby South, of course, we got to see them earlier on. And they will now be playing for third place over there with Byng. We saw both of those teams. We saw Byng and Burnaby South so far today.
Yeah, both played excellent. Lots of big hucks from both these teams, and, it's going to be a hotly contested third place game.
Well, we do have certain placements to report here in the division of the junior division. Fleetwood Park placing 12th, Churchill placing 11th, Van Tech placing 10th, Island Pacific placing 9th, Burnett placing 8th, and Semiahmoo placing 7th. So the top 6 teams in the tournament are still to be decided, while the Spirit Award goes to Island Pacific.
Island Pacific coming all the way from Bowen Island, so making the trip out here. Funny story is that they did have a science fair on Saturday afternoon, so they played one game, went all the way to UBC, and then they came back for their last 2 games. So a very packed schedule for them.
For the love of the game, my friend. No other way to put that there, as We'll see Point Grey now move the disc upfield. Number 23 will take possession. Number 21 now has it. Again, misfit jersey that you alluded to earlier on. Very popular here in Vancouver. 21 with a long throw. It's got his eyes for Zero, and he catches it. Zero lands his footing, throws it to the end zone, and that is caught. It may have been incomplete, though. Yes, it indeed was incomplete. It hit down on the ground, and a tough break there for Point Grey.
Yeah, number 0 is really stepping up his game this time, really getting out in the open and using his athleticism to his advantage and getting those deep strikes.
And so we'll see a forehanded huck all the way downfield. Oh, so close. Just couldn't clasp it with his left hand, and it will not be a successful pass attempt. We see the replay right there, and just unable to catch it with the left hand. It's still a 2-2 tie.
Incredible effort there. Almost got it, and that could have been the play of the tournament for sure.
We've seen a certain couple of candidates for play of the tournament here so far, as it's been a fun day of broadcasting Ultimate. It will be Point Grey possession here, and they'll begin from their own end zone. They're going to play the disc upfield.
And I wonder if number 0 on Point Grey is going to make another run deep. He seems to have a very nice matchup. He's been getting deep quite often, and let's see if he'll be able to replicate what he just did.
And so the disc is now moved upfield. It comes back here to number 21 on Point Grey.
He goes on a run again.
A long huck bending down the other way, and that is caught. Incredible catch. He'll throw it to the end zone, and again, that is incomplete. Number 0 is making all the efforts he can, but the other cutters are just a bit too slow catching up to him, and they're unable to connect there for the score.
Yeah, number 0, they made the adjustment to let him get the first under, but no one expects him to go deep twice, and he was able to catch his defender off guard there.
So it is going to be Hamber possession. Near side corner. At the near side. Good pass connection there for Hamber. As we see the defense there pay off. The chants of "We want defense," which are pretty popular here in the sport of Ultimate. Heard them lots at last year's provincials, club provincials at least. Disc ends up right at the middle. Here's 21 for Point Grey. He'll move it upfield to 23. She'll toss it to number 0. Back for 21. What a leaping catch. He fakes the throw. Swings it upfield. A give and go with number 0 for number 21. 21 of Point Grey moves it up to 23. She'll look to move it to the end zone. Looks for an opening. Drops it back to 21. 21, the stall count getting up there. The stall count still getting up there. He'll have to pass it off. Gets the pass across just as the stall count is expiring. Here's 28. Looking to get a pass across. Flips it high up in the air. Look at the defense here by Hamber. Good underhanded throw to 0. Flips it to the end zone, and that is caught. 0-42. The pass connects, and Point Grey has retaken the lead.
Yeah, and a great inside shot to open up the defense a little bit, and number 0 was able to complete that pass there. A little bit of a high release into a very open offensive player, and number 0 is doing fantastic right now for Point Grey.
And it is a 3-2 lead for Point Grey over Eric Hamber. And he will get his rest for now, at least, while the teams will regroup.
Now, we weren't able to see the Eric Hamber Jr. team play today, but this Point Grey team is night and day from what we first saw. They were a little stifled, maybe a little bit nervous to play on stream in their first appearance, but now they are comfortable. They've been here before, and they are really, really showcasing some good Ultimate Frisbee right now.
Yeah, on the sidelines as well. They're trying to support one another as best as they can. The coaching staff making sure that all the right names are out there on the field, and this is a coaching staff, of course, that you have some connections with as well.
Yep. I went to this high school before. The coaching staff right now in the yellow boots, that's John Carpenter. Played 2 years of senior with him, and then I also played 1 year of UBC with him as well. Great handler, one of the best and silkiest throwers I've ever played with, and I'm sure he still has that touch on his throws today.
Now he comes back to his alma mater to coach his team here the Point Greyhounds. And of course for Eric Hambert, two Vancouver schools, two rival schools. I know probably back in the day you were a part of that rivalry.
Oh yes, I've lost to Eric Hamber many times, but I finally got my revenge in the 2019 provincials in the third place game where we beat them in Universe. So one of the first and I believe only times I beat Eric Hamber was my final game there.
Probably one of the more memorable games of your career.
Yes, I got a bronze medal out of it for provincials, so very happy, and I do know where that one is.
You do know where that one is, yes. As opposed to the other medal that we were talking about earlier in the day.
Yes, no clue where that one is, but a little bit of a short pull from Point Grey, and let's see if Eric Hamber can capitalize on that.
Yeah, the pull stayed short there as Hamber will look to move the disc upfield. Pass gets across as we do have an injury down here on the field. Oh, this does not look good. It seems like it's something to do with the ankle.
Yeah, ankle health is incredibly important when you're playing Ultimate Frisbee. Some of these fields are a little bit uneven and sometimes the grass isn't as flat as you'd like, so having strong ankles to sort of be able to take any sort of surface is really important here.
Yeah, I'm seeing it on the replay here. It was kind of a play away from the disc. And, a bit of uncomfort there. And I think one thing I like about this sport in Ultimate is as soon as there's an injury, everyone drops down to one knee as a show of respect for the fallen player.
Mm-hmm. Just like in hockey, always take one knee, let the med staff find out who the hurt player is.
So we shall see a sub in that case, and meanwhile the player with the injured ankle will have a rest for now at least, as Hambert will move the disc upfield. Here's number 9. She'll look for an open lane.
Good mark, good mark.
Great defense there by Point Grey. The forehand throw ends up back out now to the far side. Good swing there upfield. Slight pass to the front. As now Hamber utilizing the pivot foot, they move the disc up. It ends up right near the end zone line. All it's going to take is one pass here. He'll try and go to the forehand, instead drops it back. Look at the defense here by Point Grey. They're taking Hamber back behind the end zone line. That's moved forward. And that's thrown with one hand, and it's caught by two hands. It is a score here for Eric Hamber as they've tied the game at 3.
Yes, great defense by Point Grey there, but even better offense by Eric Hamber to retain possession and use the entire width of the field. We'll see a replay here. Just a nice break throw. In Frisbee, you do want to tend to mark towards one side, so you want to force them to either throw a backhand or a flick, and it seemed that Point Grey was forcing backhand there, but just the throwing skill to disregard the mark and throw a forehand anyways made it so there was an easy goal for Eric Hamber in the end zone there.
So Point Grey and Eric Hamber currently tied at 3. As the battle between these two Vancouver schools certainly living up to the hype so far here at the first place game of the Rain Invite Tournament.
And this very well could be a showcase of provincial finals right now. These teams at Rain Invite are some of the best teams in the province at the moment. So if you see a matchup here, especially in the finals, these teams could very well likely face again later in the season.
How much advance of a notice are these teams given that they will be participating at a tournament such as this?
Usually about 2 or 3 weeks they'll get notice about this tournament, but for provincials it's all about just qualifying and playing good at every single tournament.
So with this tournament in specific, they were given maybe about 3 weeks notice?
Yes.
It gives them time to prepare, I'd assume.
Yes, we try to release the scheduling a bit later just so no team can really prepare as well as they want to, but some teams will scout pretty early ahead and they'll get a good general idea of who they're playing, so they'll have a scouting report for sure.
And of course, with these teams being as good as they are, this tournament, the talent level has been incredible to see for some of these teams, and a lot of these players will play club as the season goes on. Of course, the open division, and then there's the women's division as well. And we've seen a lot of great games. I've seen a lot of great games calling club last year, the provincials, and that was an incredible experience. And so we shall see off the pull. It will be possession here for Point Grey.
And the familiarity of number 21 passing to number 0 is a sort of passing thing you'll see all game long.
Here is number 21 off the pass from number 0. 21 moves it up ahead as he gets the pass across out to the far side. Here's number 99. Time going on, ends up back to the end zone, and that will be complete. Are they saying it was perhaps out of bounds? There is a contest there, and no, they're going to call it a goal.
And the defender on number 21 definitely a little frustrated there, wishing he did a little bit of a better job, marking a very difficult matchup for sure.
So it is going to be a score here. Point Grey is up 4-3. Let's take a look at the replay. What did you see here, Justin?
Yeah, 21 just sort of taking that matchup and just bursting up the line, using his speed to catch his defender off guard. Maybe some people were a little bit too keyed in on number 0, but 21 is just as much as a threat as number 0 is, and both of them can do a lot of damage if they're left unchecked.
So now we will see both teams huddle together. And of course, again, the third place game going on between Byng and Burnaby South at the far side of our broadcast location.
Let's see what Point Grey is going to do defensively here. Eric Camber has been sort of having their way offensively right now. Let's see if they can make any adjustments, perhaps backing them a bit more, forcing them to take a couple undershots, or maybe letting them shoot deep and letting their athletes, out-athlete the other team and get a defensive stop there. What I really want to see is a lot more fast-paced ultimate, however, using those turnovers as their advantage and just playing a bit quicker as well.
So we shall have the poll here coming up from Point Grey, as they have recently scored to take a 4-3 lead. And many times, more often than not, you'll see these teams try to respond right after a goal against them, a point against them. They'll try and respond with a point heading back down the other way. And especially here at the championship game, no room for mistakes, Justin.
Yeah, no room for mistakes, because making one singular drop or a missed throw can mean the difference between a championship trophy for your team and a second place non-existent medal.
Approaching 3 o'clock local time here in Richmond. It's hard to believe we started our first broadcast around 8:15, 8:30 local time here today, and we're already at 3 p.m.
Yes, this has been a long day for every single athlete here, playing 3 games or even 4 games for some of them, and it takes a lot of effort and a lot of endurance here, and we're seeing a lot of great athletes right now on this stream.
It's been a long day for our broadcast crew too, but we really appreciate everyone tuning in and supporting our broadcast of the 2026 Rain Invite. Amber will take possession here. They'll move the disc back out near side, and we'll see possession of the disc still into the hands here of Amber. Moved up, a great swat there, as the swat causes the change of possession, and Point Grey will take the disc back upfield.
And 28, a familiar person that is around the disc usually, is picking up, and let's see what sort of results he can make out of it.
Disc is thrown forward, and I'm seeing here 28 and the man that's marking him both are a part of the same club, the Vancouver Mayhem. One just has his jersey not on the right side. He has it upside down.
Yeah, flipped inside out.
Flipped inside out, yes.
Definitely 2 players that know each other well, so maybe a good matchup between 2 of them. Maybe more than just this game, but a little bit of pride on the line too.
We'll see the disc back now at the near side. It's moved back across out to the end zone. And a couple of familiar faces, and that is caught as that ends up back to the end zone. And again, a score here for Point Grey.
Stolen by 23, but perhaps number 11 is doing a little bit of an imitation that he traveled a little bit. So likely the disc is going to get called back to number 23, and we'll see how the play continues from then.
Yeah, there is a call there. We'll see if it's contested or not. And of course, that last point there, we'll take a look at the replay. As off the turnover, they're able to find the score. And we have some rough stuff there perhaps.
And it looks like Point Grey did end up tapping it in quite quick, and they went for the score. So that is another point for Point Grey there. And
we did have some rough stuff going on there, as number 11 from Hamber was not happy, and safe to say the fists almost came out.
Oh no. What's important is keeping your composure, especially in these championship games.
Especially at the high school level.
Especially at the high school level. You got to stay composed. Getting a bad reputation here is not good for the club season, and coaches do not want to coach a player with high emotion that may cause trouble for their team.
So it is going to result in a score here for Point Grey. And the two players were quickly separated by their teammates. And if you're this Point Grey team, you got to have some sort of, you got to have not even some sort of, but you got to have a bit of confidence, knowing that you're up by 2.
Yeah, any lead is small, but an ever-growing lead is really good for the confidence, and especially when you were getting a break with maybe not your best line on the field, and now you're putting on your best players, you do get some sort of confidence about just being able to pull off perhaps a break or another hold for Point Grey here. What really matters the most is how Eric Hamber is going to respond. Definitely a point they wish they got, but there's a lot of time left in the game, and if they choose to let that point get to them, this could be game over for them already, even if the game still has a lot of time left.
So it seems like we shall see Point Grey ready for the pull.
Coach,
you're in the wrong place there. As coach was trying to go back to the far side of the field. Hamber will look to begin with possession down the near side. As the stall count going on. Moved over out to the far side. Disc is moved up, and that is swatted away. Great defensive effort there by the Point Grey player. And it is swatted out of play.
I want to see 42 picking up the disc here, and we have the familiar number 0 in the prime cutting position. Let's see what move he makes here and if he's going to go open under or deep.
Disc is thrown back here now to number 0, who will move it up. As Point Grey with possession, it's a long huck heading down the other way, but that will be too much power behind that one there. It's going to be a turnover, and Hamber will take possession.
We're seeing the defensive matchup and how they're playing number 0 now, a crucial offensive player for Point Grey. They are definitely backing him. They do not want him to go deep, so they'll let him get as many yards as they want as long as he's going towards the disc and not going deep.
So the disc will come back here into the hands of Eric Hamber. Hamber will move down the near side. Moves it down the near side of the field.
Oh, good second chance effort there by the Eric Hamber player.
Moved upfield. Here's a chance, and that is unsuccessful. Of course, the D1 defense the chance going on here on the sidelines, and they're able to force the turnover there. There you have another look at the possession kept alive by the Hamber player. Now it will be Point Grey possession from the near sideline. As we'll see Point Grey move it down to number 0, dropped back, sent across out to the far side. Great pass there. Number 0 will take possession. Moved across. Clark has that one there. Number 42, a long huck heading down the other way. This one's got a chance, and it is caught. Incredible catch there, but we do have a call on the play.
Great effort, but all for nothing, unfortunately. And number 0, not a fan. I did a full field sprint for what, he says. And the disc has to go back to number 42. A pick has been called. And both players are agreeing.
So it is going to be a pick called on the play there by Eric Hamber. Let's have a look at the replay here, as this was obviously after the pick was set. Great catch there from number 0, but as you said, Justin, all for naught. So here is Point Grey as they'll move the disc upfield. Number 0 has possession, flips that one forward to the left side, but that is swatted down. And this will now go back here into the hands of Eric Hamber. A long huck heading down towards the end zone. That is caught at the line. Looking to flip it in, and that is caught. Hamber gets one back, and they are now only trailing by 1. It is 5-4.
Eric Hamber must be happy about that point, able to play good good enough defensively to get a stop and, punch in another goal and keep it close.
And again, just great movement of the disc through the middle, getting it through traffic, finding the open lane, eventually getting it to the end zone line, and then getting the score at the end zone. So a 1-point game now between Eric Hamber and Point Grey. And you talk about gender matching here in the championship final, of course. You are going to see different matchups depending on the gender ratio. That can really impact strategy. From that standpoint, Justin, what have you seen so far?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of dude ball coming out from Point Grey side, so really utilizing number 21 and number 0. And on Eric Hamber, it's sort of the opposite, where they're sort of utilizing their girls a bit more. You definitely want to try to isolate the matchups you think are most advantageous, and maybe Point Grey thinks their guys are better than their guys, and I do think Eric Hamber thinks their girls are better than Point Grey's girls. So a little bit of a different strategic battle going on here, but right now it seems to be pretty evenly matched.
Now, we shall remind you, Joint Works helps athletes recover faster, move better, perform at their peak with expert rehab and performance care. Learn more at jointworks.ca as we see Hamber returning it to their bench area. And Point Grey getting their final instructions from the coach. We see a 4-3 female-led lineup here from Point Grey. And it is a 4-3 female-led lineup here for Hamber as well.
Yeah, and one cool thing about the gender ratio is whichever gender has more will be the pulling gender as well. So you can't always have a dude pulling. Sometimes you're going to have the girl pull, and that's okay. Because some of the girls have really far rips as well, and they're able to pull it quite far.
So we shall see the pull here as, again, Point Grey receiving final instructions from their coach.
And you see Coach John Carpenter in the very bright yellow rain boots, slowly walking off as he's giving instructions to his team.
See, I never knew yellow rain boots were such a thing. I thought you only saw those in cartoons and stuff.
This might be the first time I've ever seen yellow rain boots in real life too, so news to me as well.
All right, we're back to live action off the pull. Point Grey will look to begin here with possession of the disc. Good forehanded throw, ends up back to center field. 23 drops it back to 21. 21 has possession of the disc. It's moved back to 23. 23 chops it forward to 43. As 43 will look to move it back out. Now behind the plate. Moved back out to the far side, down to 28. 28 for 23. 23 to 99. Drops that one back to 93. And moves the disc down the field.
And really seeing Point Grey use the entire width of the field now, and it's getting them a lot of yards upfield.
23 to 21. 21 chops it forward. Here to 23. Moved across. Now near the end zone line. As 28 will have it. Moves it at the line. 21 to the end zone. And that is looking still for a pass. 21 to 28. 28. Moves it out to the near side. And again, you're seeing Hamber's defense try and step up big here. They pushed Point Grey away from the line. 21. Looks for an opening. Sends it across, and the layout catch is incomplete. And the defense of Eric Hamber paying off big dividends there.
Yeah, that could have been a very big point for Eric Hamber, but now they have their life back on the line.
So the disc will come back all the way downfield, and that is incomplete.
Just out of the hands of the Eric Hamber player there, and we're seeing 28 rush up to the disc and trying to see any downfield options.
So Point Grey will move the disc up the sideline. Good flip throw there, ends up back here into the hands of number 23. Moves that one downfield back for 23. 23. Flips it forward, ends up back down the near side. Here is number 28. 28 chops it forward to the end zone, and that ends up being swatted away. The disc will head back down the other way. So Hamber will take possession. Hamber, number 23, moves it up to number 15 as she'll look for an open lane. Chops that one back out now behind the plate. As the disc is chopped back here, and again an interception. Both teams clogging those defensive lanes here, as you'll see here once again. The defensive lane clogged once again, unable to get the pass through. It ends up back to the end zone, and that is caught. It'll be a successful point for Point Grey. They spike the disc. 6-4 is the score.
Point Grey doing an excellent job of being a little bit faster off the turn, and it's paying dividends right now for their points. They're up ahead by 2, and right now they look pretty dominant in this game. While it may seem close, Eric Hamber does seem to be a little bit lower in energy, and I wonder what they can do and what the coaches will say to sort of get their energy back up.
6-4 the score here. Point Grey leading over Hamber. Of course, I believe we should be approaching halftime here pretty soon in this one. A 2-score game. Your overall thoughts on the game so far, Justin?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot better ultimate frisbee out of this game right here. Maybe it's the pressure of finals, or maybe it's the shaking off the jitters from the first 2 games, but these 2 teams right now are playing some pretty good ultimate frisbee. They are utilizing their star players a lot, and they're trying to score. They're just trying to score the frisbee, honestly. They're not really swinging it that much around the disc or around the field anymore. They're looking for the kill shot a lot of the time.
And so we shall see the coaching staff here getting their troops ready. And it's been a strong half for Point Grey, especially Point Grey's number 0. What have you liked that you've seen out of him?
Yeah, what I'm seeing right now is he's really running the show. He's using his legs to beat his matchup. He is just physically more dominant and physically better than anyone that is marking him right now, and he's using that to his advantage. If he was able to, get into the open field and the disc is high in the sky, I believe 95% of the time he's going to come down with it. And he has had a little bit of rest in the last 2 points. We haven't really seen him on the field, so expect big cuts and big plays out of him. And if they're able to get a stop here and Point Grey scores, this might be the nail in the coffin already.
6-4 the score here for Point Grey over Eric Hamber. Looks like they're ready to receive the pull, and it's nice to see the Point Grey player back out onto the field. She went down with an ankle injury earlier on, and it's nice to see her back on the field.
And a big pull that just goes a bit past the brick, and we see number 11 picking up and number 0 as the matchup, and that's going to be a fun matchup to watch.
Yeah, number 11, of course, he plays with fire and emotion. We'll send that one downfield. Here's a chance, and it's caught. We'll look for the end zone throw here. A good throw with the forehand. Ends up well outside the red zone. As it ends up back to the forehand. Now to the end zone. It's caught, and Hamber get the point right back. So much for the nail in the coffin. This is a 1-point game.
And Eric Hamber claws right back, and that's a great point. Number 11 with the very quick scoober to go to the break side for his teammate. And, maybe they're down, but maybe they just like to play nice, calm, cool, and collected. We'll see a replay of it here.
It could be the case that he perhaps heard you on the broadcast and said, hey, you think that we're going to have a nail in the coffin that quickly? Let me go ahead and score one back for you, as 1 point now is the difference between these 2 teams.
It makes our job a lot easier when the game's a lot more exciting, and a 1-point game is anyone's ball game still.
6-5 the score. And of course, a reminder that this game is played 85 minutes, not the normal 75 minutes. So with that, we still have quite some time remaining in the contest, and a lot of time for both of these teams to work with.
We're seeing some familiar faces coming out for the Point Grey's O-line here. Number 28, number 23, number 21, both strong handlers and cutters for the disc. And on Eric Hamber's side, we see the guy in the blue hat who has been the primary pickup handler for Eric Hamber, and then the other young fella in the white shirt on the far right side, as well as the girls who have been churning out yards and playing excellent defensively and able to contain Point Grey's matchups.
I guess we can call him the man in the blue hat then. Be a fitting name for him. as Point Grey currently leading Hamper by a 6-5 score. And we'll see the disc come all the way back downfield. Of course, this is the junior championship game at this year's invite, being the rain invite. It is. No, it's very near and dear to your heart.
I did have a little bit of help or a little bit of hand coordinating this event, so it's very nice to see a lot of teams here playing their heart out and really competing as well.
It's been a fun day of Ultimate so far, and we still have our senior final to go, which should be a fun matchup as well. Good movement of the disc here as it'll come back out to the side, out to the near side once again. Good.
Travel called on number 21, maybe arguing it a bit.
Yeah, there is the counter there, so the disc is moved upfield back to the near side corner. Now thrown to the end zone, and that is caught. And Point Grey able to get the point back. A point for Point. 7-5 is the score.
Yeah, as fast as Eric Hamber's point was, Point Grey responds right back. Number 21 running the show. We'll see this right here. Travel was called, taps it in, finds a quick under, and then just uses his legs to beat his opponent to the line. Really catching his defender off guard and using his speed. Usually you see him around the disc, but when he goes to score, you have to respect that.
Keep in mind, for this game, the maximum score is 15. So I think with this 7th point here, this should take us to halftime. Or it will be the 8 point, my apologies. 8 points will be halftime.
This is a very high-scoring game compared to the semifinal, so teams are getting a lot more comfortable and they're showcasing their skills a bit more. A perfect time to really show up and play hard competitive Ultimate. And I do believe it is halftime now.
All right, well, they will take halftime then, I guess. With that, so we'll be back. Stay tuned. This is the 2026 Rain Invite on trickshotlive.com. Getting set to head back to live action here at the South Arm Park in Richmond, BC. Off the pole. And it ends up all the way into the end zone. A nice pull there to begin our proceedings here in the second half.
Oh, that's not allowed.
And
you cannot walk the pull up off a pull. You have to take it where it is.
so the disc will come back out now to the near side. Here's a chance down the other way, and that won't go. As the one-handed reception not to be there for number 43 of Point Grey.
Definitely had time to use two hands there, and I know the coaches are a little bit livid that with enough time to use two hands, she decided to go with one.
And sometimes it's those decisions that you make, those rapid-fire decisions that you have to make rather quickly that, it makes a difference in a game. And in a game as close as this, it is a 7-5 lead for Point Grey and Hamburg. When you have a game as quick as this, I think you have to be very careful with the decisions that you end up making. Disc comes back out now to the near side. Moved back across. It ends up now to the end zone. A chance there, and believe we may have a score there as there is a contest, though, of some sorts. For now, Hamburg looks like Hamburg has scored.
Hamburg has scored.
Hamburg has scored. It is at the near side corner in which Hamburg resulted in a goal. So it is now 7-6 in favor of Point Grey as Hamburg is able to get one back. So 7-6 is the score. And Hamburg is only trailing by one. We'll take a look at the replay here, but again, Justin, from our angle right here, it's pretty blocked off, so we can't even tell what happened at the near side corner. We had so many bodies in front of us.
Yeah, a little bit difficult because people are approaching on the sideline there, but, everyone here is super excited, and that's what finals is all about. It's all about, getting your team excited and playing with the momentum. There's a lot riding on the line right now with Reign Championships, and these finals are important for both of these teams. It's only a 7-6 game, and, a singular mistake can cause a 1-point change, and maybe if she caught it with two hands, that would have secured and got a point, making it 8-6. Or maybe she gets that turnover and then now Eric Hamburg scores. So that 1-point game is really, really important now, and you're going to have to keep a really good presence of mind to be able to sort of focus up and dial in on the small mistakes that, could change the tide of the game. We're seeing Point Grey sort of stack their lineup now. We have number 0, who has been a huge factor for this game, and number 42 has been playing excellent as well as the girl who has gone injured playing. And it's awesome to see that she is still out on the field. And the disc goes to the back of the end zone right now. Not really sure he's going to pick it up. A little bit slow to the disc, but we do see number 0 in the primary cutting spot, and let's see what sort of cut he makes. Eric Hamburg has been making the adjustments to keeping him just going towards the disc and not going deep. And he seems he's making a ton of yards, and just a little bit of an errant throw, and Eric Hamburg has the short field turn to make it a tied game. Now we see number 11 with the disc right now, picking up and surveying the field, and let's see what sort of decision he makes. Taps it in. A little bit stagnant upfield, finds one of the open girls going up. That's number 9. Number 11 trying to get the disc back. Clears upfield, scoop cut, and nicely blocked by number 42 there. Now Point Grey needs to punch this one in unless they want to have a tie game on their hands, and this point is way more important than just this singular point. Number 0 with the disc dumps it off, and those are those little mistakes that could cost them the game, and these mistakes build up and the pressure ramps, and these mistakes become more and more frequent, and you just got to dial in and stay focused. Now number 11 with the short field turn, and we've seen it once and we see it again. He is an excellent thrower, and the disc goes into the end zone. And just over the hands of number 9. And that was an excellent chance for Eric Hamburg there, and unfortunately it is back in Point Grey hands, or maybe fortunately for me, because I'm a little bit of a homer here, but right now we have another chance for Point Grey to make it a 2-point game again.
Back and forth they go. It's just continued back and forth action, as you'll see now. It is Hamburg disc. They take the interception here. And now Hamber will look to send it right to the end zone, and that is incomplete. And again, a great chance for Hamber there. They tried to get the disc into the end zone. It looks like there's a foul called on the play, but the two-handed reception was not meant to be. On the reception, though, Eric Hamber is contesting a foul here against number 0 of Point Grey.
Not sure the Eric Hamber player had a chance to make a second chance effort there if it had already hit the ground, and it seems that both players agree to that, and back in Point Grey hands.
So Point Grey will take the disc here after what looked like an Eric Hamber interception would have led to an Eric Hamber score. A layout attempt there is incomplete, as number 0 will take possession. He'll move it out to the left side.
And number 0 is going deep.
A long huck down the other way. Here's number 0, and that is caught. Boy, oh boy, is the speed of number 0 something to behold. It is now 8-5.
Who can stop this man right now? He is using his speed to his maximum advantage. You can contain him, but you cannot keep him from going deep.
And I mean, not only does he set up the initial pass, he then goes all the way downfield, and the runner is just unable to catch up to him. He does a great job cutting his way, and all smiles heading back here to the bench area for Point Grey.
Number 0 is proving to be a very, very big factor once again to be one of the main winning factors for Point Grey right now. He is unstoppable. You're giving him the under, which lets him churn 3 yards, but if you let off the gas for just a little bit, he is going to strike deep, and you're going to be roasted.
And so we will now see Point Grey continue up with this lead that they have made for themselves. I believe it's Point Grey 8, Eric Hamber 5.
Point Grey with a pretty big lead at the moment, and while it is a 3-point game and the game has been going maybe a bit slower than we expected, that can turn in a moment's notice. A couple short field turns and Eric Hamber just being able to capitalize on that, really able to dial it in. They could turn it into a 2-point game, turn it into a 1-point game, and when you have a big lead and it starts shortening, that momentum goes into the team that's actually losing, and it's not about winning now, it's about retaining your lead, and that's the worst mentality to have for a team, is you're not trying to win, you're just trying to preserve.
And so we will see now that Eric Hamber will get ready to receive the pull. Point Grey still has the 3-point lead. And so actually I believe it is 8-6 the score for Point Grey. I was wondering because I know that it was made 7-6 at one point. And a great catch there by number 11 of Eric Hamber.
Now number 11 of Eric Hamber doing a lot of the heavy lifting as well.
He'll drop it back now to the near side. Good throw on the underhand. As the disc is dropped back, he thought about the long huck, instead swings it over. A turnover there. Point Grey looking to take advantage here, but they have to get their cutters back down to the other end of the field. And sent across out to the far side. As we'll see the break point attempt here from the Point Grey Hounds. Sent right near the end zone. It ends up now at the line.
Stuck on that far sideline. They're really looking for options.
Yeah, great swing, but it's unfortunately intercepted as Eric Hamber's number 11 elects to drop it back.
Number 11, a big shooter for this Eric Hamber squad, choosing to throw it to a dump instead.
Good throw there upfield, ends up back to the sideline. It's moved up the field. Here's a chance at the end zone, and that is incomplete. And the player took quite the tumble as she went down, but luckily she seems to be okay.
Back in Point Grey possession, and they have a lot of yards to work, but the clock is with them right now. Do they choose to sort of preserve the disc and play it slow, or do they just want to punch it in and get a quick score on the field?
8-6 the score here for Point Grey over Hamber. Of course, the score cap is 15. And as we know, the hard cap is at 85 minutes. So Point Grey still has possession of the disc. They'll look to move that one across the field. It swung back out now to the far sideline. As possession comes back now past the left side, moved back to the middle of the field. As it'll come back across out to the near side here. Point Grey doing a great job getting the short passes through. No need to rush those long passes right now. Having the 2-point lead, and that is incomplete.
She definitely wishes she got that one back. Hands on her head. Expect her to make a big play soon to sort of redeem herself.
And so possession will come back. Oh, and we do have a player that blew a tire necessarily. Long huck back down the other way. This one's got the angle. It's going to the middle, and it's incomplete. Had the right thinking there for sure, but just the execution fell a bit short. Angling was right, but the cutters just couldn't get a proper read on the disc, and they couldn't receive the disc there in the end zone.
Back in Point Grey possession here, into the hands of number 28, into the hands of number 23.
Yeah,
big shooter for Point Grey.
Yeah, disc is moved upfield, and that is incomplete. As another incomplete pass, this time from the Point Grey Hounds. So we will have a change of possession. It'll go back with Hamber.
Point Grey definitely hoping to lock in right now. This short field turn could really punch the game in for them, but Eric Hamber has proven that they're able to huck the disc down the field and gain lots of yards that way.
Well, you also got to think here at some point, Justin, this thing is continuing to get chippy. The emotions are going to run high with both of these teams. And it will be a fun finish to this one. However, it does end up playing out as the disc is played forward down to the far side. It's dropped back here to number 11.
Surveying the field. Nice inside throw.
Yeah, great throw there on the inside. Number 15 has possession. She'll move it up. Great pass upfield. The pass is complete. Now on the drop pass, that ends up going back. As utilizing the pivot foot there are the Eric Hamber team.
And I believe it's a stall down contested.
Yeah, it is a stall down that is contested.
And it is getting a little chippy now. Emotions running high in this championship final.
Emotions are still running high indeed. Safe to say. And Point Grey's players are not happy with the call, but it will continue on. Good pass, moving the disc upfield. The pass ends up through to number 9. She'll throw it to the end zone. Or she'll try and throw it to the end zone. Still has it. Has to get a pass through. And we'll drop it back. Now to number 11. Good pass upfield. This one's got a chance now at the line. They'll move that to the end zone, and that is caught with the one hand. And Hamburg getting another point back. It is 8-7 now for Point Grey.
A 1-point game in this championship final might be a exact imitation of their first matchup where Point Grey won by 1, or Eric Hamber could run away with it. Lots of momentum on this Eric Hamber side right now.
So Hamber now has 7 up on the board.
I should have called the foul on coach. He hit my hand so bad. That was great defense.
And it's a one-score game with 17 and a half minutes to go in the hard cap time here, Justin. What are you anticipating for the rest of this matchup?
As this game winds down, you're going to need to start relying on your star players. Maybe you're starting to rest them a bit for the final moments of the game, but those final moments of the game are now. We need to see number 0 on the field for Point Grey. We need to see number 11 on the field for Hamber. And we need to see them almost every point if they really want to secure this win. You got to ignore the pain in your legs and how tired you are. It's only 17 more minutes of ultimate, and if you want to hoist that trophy up when the day is finished, you got to play through the pain right now.
Will the trophy presentations be on the field?
That is a great question. I'll get back to you in 15 seconds.
And so we will have Point Grey with the reception here on the pole as Hamber is ready to ready to throw it down on the field, and I believe you have an answer for me.
Yes, the winning team gets the trophy right away.
Right away.
As soon as the game ends, someone's going to rush over and give them the trophy.
Well, that should be quite the celebration. We'll make sure to get it all on the stream for everyone watching at home.
And Point Grey's not still sort of playing their offensive line right now. You see number 0 who's been making incredible plays, and number 42 has been a big hooker. And we're going to see what sort of strategy they have right now.
Number 0, proud supporter of the broadcast, as when he was not playing, he was tuned in on the broadcast. And he had a big smile on his face. So he's a big supporter of the broadcast so far, and we thank him for giving us a show to watch so far. Here is number 0, the aforementioned number 0.
And we can definitely see Eric Hamper is really scared to let him go deep. They're giving him the free under every time. He's almost unmarked any single time he goes under.
Number 0 with a bit of a give and go, still at the far sideline. We'll look to drop that one back, and the pass ends up with number 42 for Point Grey. 42 still has it. Stall count definitely getting up there. And I'm not sure how the stall count hasn't gone off yet. You got to think there has to be the stall count at some point. And I guess it doesn't matter anyways, as Hamber's able to get it back. Here's the man in the blue hat, but a great play there defensively, able to swat it away.
Number 42 turning on the Jets and playing good hard defense, and I believe there's going to be a foul call, but very interesting. He had the disc in his hands for...
Well, that was more than 10 seconds, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But you just take a look there at the play once again. 42 just trying to get back defensively. The swat of the disc, as it'll come back out now to the near sideline. The Point Greyhounds trying to move the disc upfield. And that is a complete pass. It's caught. Ends up at the far sideline. Drop back to number 0. And a great swat there out of nowhere. What a rejection.
And Eric Hamber's sideline definitely alive right now.
And the disc ends up back here in the hands of number 15. She'll throw it upfield. And this is the point to try and tie the game here for Eric Hamber, as they'll throw it to the end zone. That is caught. Eric Hamber have tied the game at 8.
Eric Hamber using everything they have to get that last point, and it paid off with a tie game. Eric Hamber has the momentum, and they might run away with it now.
All the momentum on the side of Eric Hamber, and you got to think that we may have a timeout here called by Point Grey's coaching staff just to settle things down a bit. Remind them that they have led this game for most of it so far. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a timeout called.
Yes, I would love to see Point Grey utilize their number 0 right now even more than they're doing. They're giving him the free under every single time. If you just let him go every other, then you can just work your way down the field. And if the Eric Hamber defender ever wants to jump the lane, maybe protect the under, number 0 can just bust deep and showcase why they have to give him the free under every single time.
It looks like Eric Hamber will be ready to throw the pull here. And as for the side of Point Grey here, with time continuing to tick away on the clock, every moment, every minute becoming all that more crucial in their efforts to try and walk away with the gold medal, the championship trophy here at the 2026 Rain Invite.
And both teams definitely strategizing right now how to run away with the game. Is Eric Hamber going to still keep letting number 0 get the free under? Because it clearly worked last point. Even with a little bit of confusion and letting number 42 have the disc for way longer than 10 stalls, they were able to punch in that last point and actually able to punch in the last 2.
So 12-17 now remains in the second half. You see Point Grey's coaching staff talking things over. And number 0 still out there for Point Grey, to your point there, Justin. If you need, there's no bigger time than to have your big-time players playing than right now.
Yeah, we see number 0, 21, 23, 28, and then the 3 girls that have been playing a lot for Point Grey, number 43, and then the girl that got injured, along with Eric Hamber running their number 9, and then number 11 as well.
Nice pull there, sets us off for this point. as Point Grey has possession. They'll move the disc up. Number 0 with a great catch falling down as he'll look to move it upfield. Able to get the pass across to number 23. 23 diverting traffic here. Flips the disc up. Moves it back to number 23. Nice two-man game there with number 0 and number 23 moving the disc upfield. Great pass. And the pass attempt gets through back for number 0. It comes back out at the near side. Disc is flipped high up in the air. This one has a chance at the end zone, and it is incomplete. So the play there incomplete, and we still have an 8-8 game. And of course, the hard cap is at 85 minutes, but of course, if the game is tied, then I guess it goes to Universe Point.
Yes, a next point win, sudden death.
Disc will end up back. Great throw, man, and caught at center field. Another chance to move it quickly upfield. Look at the movement here by Eric Hamber as they'll drop the disc back down the near side. And in the process of the Point Grey players getting back downfield, Eric Hamber got at least 3 passes across.
And the defense is locking up now. Pressure is mounting for this Eric Hamber offense.
As the disc ends up back out to the far sideline. And moves near the sideline to the end zone, and that is caught.
Oh.
It is going to be an Eric Hamber score, and this is a team that was down 8-5 at one point. They have now taken the lead. It's 9-8.
Eric Hamber has all the momentum going with them right now, and now they have the lead. Point Grey needs to find an answer soon, or else they'll be going down further and further in this game.
Let's take a look at the replay there. Another great passing play here set up by Eric Hamber. They're able to get the disc to the right place. Again, the pass to number 15, and she'll make no mistake finding a flying cutter in the end zone as Hamber connect there. And we seem to have some confusion here. The teams are gathered at center field. I think we'll hope to clean things up. So, ladies and gentlemen, what you see here is, so we're at the 75-minute mark. Both of these teams perhaps thinking that the game was over, but no. As we discussed in the broadcast earlier on, 85 points is the hard cap. So perhaps a celebration a bit preliminary. And it is indeed a 9-8 lead for Eric Hamber, but this game is not over yet.
All this information was in the tournament packet that we sent the teams, and reading literacy must be hard these days because it's very clear that championship game, 2:15, halftime at 55, the horn lied to them, and they still got a lot more game to go. Point Grey.
I didn't even know the horn sounded.
They were very much waiting for the horn, and it lied to them, and Point Grey has more life in them yet. They may be hanging on to the edge, but game's not over, and they can still come back.
Imagine the storylines here. They thought they were done. And boy, oh boy, does this just add fuel to the fire if you're Point Grey. You thought you were done, and now you still have a chance to do something special.
A historic moment going on right now.
The trophy's lying right in front of you, my friend.
I'm ready to present it, but they got more game. Eric Hamber versus Point Grey has been a long, long historic battle. Lots of victories both ways, and this is going to be one for the history books for sure.
Well, it's unfortunately for us, this is not like the sport of football where, there's extra time added on. This time that was obviously spent in the confusion still comes off of the game clock. So if you're Point Grey here, you probably want to try and move this disc as fast as possible. But if you're Eric Hamber, you'll take all the time you can get.
Yes, if you're Point Grey, you do want to try to score fairly quick. And if you're Eric Hamber, you do want to either score it and put the game out of reach, or just slow down the clock a little bit. Clock is on your side now, and you got to do everything you can to preserve the lead.
So we will see now as Point Grey receives the disc. They'll be ready here to receive the pull. And it will be Eric Hamber getting ready to send it downfield. Here we go.
Big pull by number 11.
Big pull. Ends up all the way down to the other end zone. And now here starts Point Grey's chance to try and claw back into this one. They're currently down by a point.
I would love to see a little bit more hustle fielding the pull, getting as many cheap yards as you can. And number 0 with a great under, generating tons of yards there.
Great catch there from number 0 as the disc will end up back out to the near side. Moved back to number 0. Number 23 with a great reception there. 23 will move it back out now to the far side corner. Ends up across past the far corner once again. Ends up near the end zone. We have a stoppage here. A contest perhaps.
In the hands of number 0, who's been putting Point Grey on his back at the moment.
Yeah, we'll see what he decides here. Number 0 has the disc.
Looking for help.
Calling for options and throws it in the end zone, and that is caught. That is going to be a tied game at 9. Now, my friend, I have to ask you, if a team is up by 1, let's say, heading into the extra time, and the other team finds a way to tie the game, does that point then become universe point?
That is correct, and that becomes the last point, the final do or die moment. No more points to be played, and that is the highest, most intense, most high-pressure point and moment in Ultimate Frisbee.
I think we had a certain situation like that last year. I forget which game it was, but there was a certain situation there where there was some confusion regarding universe point. So 9-9 is the score here. 9 all, 4:29 to go in the half here.
And there is 4 minutes and 20 seconds left in the game. And if the horn goes off during the final or during that point, that will be the last point. So it is very important to put on your best players right now, because this could be the final point of the tournament for the junior scene.
This is all or nothing here. I believe the third place matchup between Burnaby South and Byng has wrapped up. Trying to see if we have a final score to report from there. As of right now, there's no final score. It has wrapped up, though. Of course, in the Senior B tournament, still no final score to report from there either, as those games are still going on. And the Senior A bracket, of course, we have the final matchup of that coming up here between Burnaby South and Eric Hamber.
Now, there are a couple factors at play here. If one team decides to score fairly quick, there could still be 2 more points of ultimate after that. But if the time runs out for this point, that could be it for both these teams, and this would be the final point.
Hamber is ready for the reception here. And here we go. Bit of a low pull there, but it still ends up getting the job done, getting the disc across the field.
Familiar faces and bodies on the field right now for both teams. Really putting on the best that they can.
Number 11 with a long pull there. This one's going to the end zone. That is incomplete. Oh, she had the chance of ages to try and capitalize there. But unfortunately, the great huck all the way down to the other end zone was the pass reception was incomplete there, and she has her arms on her head.
And what should have been a very secure grab for Eric Hamber now is in the hands of Point Grey, and momentum is flip-flopping back and forth. And right now, Point Grey is in the driver's seat.
Point Grey will now take possession here of the disc as they'll move it upfield. Great pass to number 0. Point Grey working with speed. Moved back out to the near side. Here's number 0. Center field, 23. Picks it up. 23, great pass up to 0. Bit of a give and go there. Back for 23 to the end zone. This one's got a chance. Incomplete.
That's a great look. That's a good look.
So now it is going to be Eric Hamber back in the driver's seat trying to take the disc upfield.
And time is running out, and if that horn goes off during this point, this is it. This is the last point for championship finals.
And oh boy, it was only this game that was going to come down right to the wire. These two teams so closely contested in the round robin matchup, and we're getting nothing different here in this matchup as well. Here we go, folks. It is Eric Camber moving the disc upfield. Number 15 has it. She'll look for a pass, gets the pass across to number 9. Number 9 still has it back. She'll look for space. The stall count going on. This is to the end zone. Oh, incomplete. Foul called, though.
I believe they're calling a foul. Eric Hammer believes that the disc was in their hands, and
Goaltend?
the Point Grey player believing that maybe she swatted it down first.
Let's take a look at the replay right here, Justin. As you'll have a look. And, oh, there is a valid case to be made there.
I could definitely see it going both ways, but let's see what the players on the field discuss.
There is a valid case to be made there. Shout out to my guy Theo for that replay there, but there is a case to be made there if you're Eric Hamber.
And I believe, to the surprise of no one, the disc is going to be sent back.
So it is still going to be Eric Hamber possession here. 10 seconds are showing on our clock. And there's the horn.
And that's the horn.
There's the horn. So Eric Hamber a chance to clinch the title. As number 9 will look for a pass. She'll throw it to the end zone. That is incomplete. And now it is going to be Point Grey's chance to head downfield and try and clinch the 2026 Reign Invite Championship in the junior division. And so here we go. Number 0 with a bit of a give and go to 23. It's a long head heading down the other way. It's in the air. Number 43 trying to catch it. Number 0 catches it. An incredible catch at the line. One more pass required. Oh, he fumbled the pass. Foul called here on the play.
And he's saying he still had it in his hand before he released the disc, and that is the foul being called.
Oh my goodness.
What?
Back and forth they go.
Not number 0, not even the intended receiver for that disc, but having the speed to catch up and skying both opponents.
So they are calling the foul there, and they're going to play it right from that spot. Here's another chance for Point Grey to try and seal the deal. The pass to 23, and that is in the end zone. That is it. Point Grey secondary are champions of the 2026 Reign Invite. They'll all rush onto the field and celebrate as it came back right to the final moments. Of course, number 0 calling the foul there, and then he's able to get the pass across to number 23. And on this day, Eric Hamber fought oh so valiantly, but it is Point Grey, the champions of the 2026 Reign Invite Tournament. Another look here at the closing moments of this one. Number 0 gets the pass across, and number 23 with the one-handed catch. It is a championship crowning moment here for the Point Grey Hounds, who pretty much snatched victory from the hands of defeat. They thought the game was over. They thought that the 75-minute mark was the hard cap. And now, after all that, they walk away with the win and first place.
Yeah, right on their own end zone line, battling back. You hear the horn sound. All the pressure in the world, and they're able to get a stop. And then number 0, who else, runs deep and is able to just take the game away from Eric Hamber.
Well, congratulations to the Point Grey Hounds for walking away with the championship. Folks, before we do go, we shall remind you that the 2026 Reign Invite Tournament is presented by Vancouver Ultimate. Start playing today at VUL.ca. Special thank you to VC Ultimate and the City of Richmond for helping make today happen. behalf of Matthew on the camera, Theo in the producer's chair, Mr. Justin Luna in the colors chair, this is your Garage Lolly saying so long. We'll talk to you again very soon as we bring you the Senior A Finals from the 2026 Rain Invite live on TrickShotLive.com. And welcome back to the 2026 Rain Invite at South Arm Park in Richmond, BC, on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Musqueam people. Again, you're watching the 2026 Rain Invite presented by Vancouver Ultimate. Jagraj Lully on the call, joined alongside Justin Luna. We have Matthew on the camera, Theo in the producer's chair. On behalf of Trick Shot Live, we'd like to welcome you to this broadcast. Opening poll is off and underway. It's the Senior A final between Eric Hamber Secondary and Burnaby South Secondary, and already the intensity off the charts. What a catch! Incredible catch there made. And will this follow up the same thrill as our junior final had, in which Point Grey defeated Eric Hamber 10-9 in the final seconds on the last possession to win the junior division of the Rain Invite. Oh, what a catch on the interception. Back and forth we go as the disc will be brought back down the near sideline. Now drawn back to Atkinson. Atkinson looking for an open lane. He'll move it forward. Finds number 15 there. As she'll drop it back to number 28, Poon. Poon with the pass forward. As Nickel will pick that one back up. Moved back across, now downfield, as that is incomplete. So the pass there is incomplete, and this allows me to introduce the color voice of this broadcast, Mr. Justin Luna.
Hi, these are two very exciting teams. Burnaby South playing a very, very high-intensity, high-emotional game in the semis, and Eric Hamber coming off a forfeit victory against Van Tech.
Long huck back down the other way. This one's got a chance into the end zone. Oh, it's caught! What a catch at the end zone as Burnaby South opens the scoring. That is incredible.
Second chance efforts always matter, and she may not have been the intended receiver, but she was there for the final catch of this point.
That has to be up there for play of the tournament for sure. What a catch there in the end zone. It looked like the play was lost, but no, not lost at all. Let's take a look at the replay right here once again. A long huck all the way downfield, and the initial reception was deflected, and then she was there to complete the catch. Incredible play as Burnaby South strikes first in the final.
Exciting ultimate already being played, and both these teams well coached and have a lot of very high-level club players, so this is going to be a very, very intense game on both sides.
And as we take a look at Burnaby South here, we'll have a look at their journey on the way to this final, as it's been a pretty long weekend for both of these teams, to say the least. And for Burnaby South, they were in the A pool. They defeated McMath 12-2. They defeated Boyd 10-4. While in this case, their opponent, I believe it's their opponent in this case, Eric Hamber, were in the D division, and they defeated Burnaby Central 13-5, McNeil 13-2. 2 games played by them. And then in the crossover bracket, or the Sunday bracket, I should say, Burnaby South defeated VC-LFA, so Vancouver College, and the combination of the other private schools, 7-4 was the final score there. Hamber defeated Boyd 11-6. Burnaby South would defeat Handsworth to advance to the final here. And then we also did see earlier on Hamber would be clinching an automatic berth. Oh, look at that pull. Hamber clinched an automatic berth in the final because of the forfeit from Van Tech Secondary.
Now this Eric Hamber squad does have a little bit more legs going into this match because it didn't have a semifinal, but right now all the energy is with Burnaby South at the moment.
So Burnaby South currently leading by a score of 1-0. And we will have the disc come back out to the left side as Hamber will look to move the disc upfield here. Comes back out now to the far side of the field. Poon picks it back up. He'll knock it out to the near side, at the near sideline. As we see there, Eric Hamber, for some of their players, they have jerseys that they've made themselves, perhaps. Disc ends up across out to the far side. Here's a chance on the catch. A great clap catch there right near the end zone. As it's near the end zone, we have a contest, however. A travel call, perhaps. And we have supporters here from the sideline trying to help the team on. We do have a contest here, and I'm pretty sure, Justin, this is for a travel call.
Yeah, it seems there's a lot of talk going on the far sideline there, so we'll see what the result of the call is going to be.
Team still talking things over, and it looks like they will play from where they were earlier on. And I think there's a demonstration going on that was not a travel. And of course, stakes are high, even higher than they've been in the past because of the magnitude of this matchup. Still looking to find out the final score of that game between Delta and Mosscrop. Earlier on, the Senior B final. I believe it should have wrapped up by now, so we're still waiting to see the winner of that game. As we know, Point Grey, the champions in the junior division. Hamburg coming up second. Burnaby South, third place against Bing, as they walked away with a win there. This is a pretty long discussion here.
Seems like this is going to go back to the original thrower and still in Hamber hands right now.
And we are off and underway once again as Eric Hamber will take the disc down the near side of the field. It's moved back now past the sideline. They'll look to send it back into the end zone here. It's flipped back out to the middle. Poon moves it up the field.
Pick call, so stays with the intended receiver, but the next player does get to catch up to his person.
So yes, indeed, there has been a pick play called there. As the disc will move past now into the end zone. It's brought back upon now past the sideline to the end zone, and that is complete. As Hamber has gotten on the board, it is 1-1. So a great play there by Hamber trying to execute, and they're able to get the disc across the line to the end zone for the score.
And this Eric Hamber team is very deep on the roster. They have a lot of good players, and this Burnaby South team is sort of riding on the back of 10-ish players. So, is the star power of Burnaby South going to overcome Eric Hamber, or is Eric Hamber's depth going to let them be victorious here?
For these teams here, when you think about it, Justin, a win here in a tournament like this, what does that do for the group's confidence heading into the rest of the year?
I mean, a very big tournament win just sort of lets other teams know that they are a big threat, and sometimes it lets them play a little bit better, sometimes it lets them play a little bit worse, but it's really hard to say, but usually the confidence is always good for these young athletes.
Well, I'm sure a lot of these, or if all of these kids have school tomorrow as well, so they're definitely going to be tired. The legs are definitely going to be tired, and I hope for the ones that have PE tomorrow, at least the PE teacher lets them off a bit lighter.
Always good to go into school with a chip on your shoulder, coming back home with a championship victory.
Oh, 100%. It's not often that you think you see it in movies where there's quite the championship run and the championship welcome after winning a championship here. And when you win a championship, of course, you're well respected, you're well known around the school, and it's even announced in the school announcement sometimes as well in the mornings. That the team won the championship or they won the tournament. I think you'll see that at whichever school wins that championship here today, either Burnaby South or whether it is Eric Hamber. 1-1 the score here, as we're still quite a lot of time, over an hour left of playing time here in this one. Our last matchup went right down to the wire, as it was a 10-9 win on Universe Point for Point Grey over Eric Hamber. And this is our final matchup of the day. 1-1 the score. There's a long pull, a great pull all the way down to the other end. And that goes into the lap of one of our fans there who has a dog in their lap.
And the first pull that has gone out the back of the end zone, which means it does go actually to the brick. So Burnaby South is going to get a bit of a yardage advantage right now.
And so indeed they will get advantage as they'll look to bring the disc up the field. As it's moved across past the right side. Disc comes back out to the near side of the field. At the sideline. Good clap catch is complete. Comes back out to the near side of the field. As it's flipped down the middle, a heavy check there. Now past the line. Moved across past the far side. And the disc goes down, and we do have the stoppage. Or the change of possession, rather. There's a chance now for Eric Camber as they're on the far side. To Poon. Poon picks it up. He'll move it forward now to his right side. Tries to get the pass across. Backhand to Atkinson. Atkinson flips it forward. The clap catch is complete as it'll come back here with Atkinson down the middle. Atkinson skies high up in the air. Moves it back to Poon, who is near the end zone. Poon flips to his right, knocks it back. Poon calling for it, flips it forward, diving catch is complete near the end zone line, and that will be a score here for Eric Hamber. They take a 2-1 lead.
Now we're seeing a very distinct play style from the end zone for Eric Hamber there. They're trying to isolate those two players and just get those two players involved, and I believe they're calling it a Kobe where they're just isolating that one player.
And of course we knew the late great Kobe Bryant, how much he liked his isolation one-on-ones. You see here the replay, Poon fakes, and then he gets the throw across, and the diving clap catch is complete at the end zone for Eric Hamber, who take a 2-1 lead. And that is an important point there for Eric Hamber, as they're now up by a 2-1 margin. And of course, lots of talent on these two teams as well, Justin.
Yes, I want to see how Burnaby South is going to respond to that sort of end zone set. It seems that Eric Hamber is very good at running that isolation play, and if they're not able to put a stop to that, those are very easy short field passes, and that just essentially means a goal every single time Eric Hamber is able to work it down there.
A reminder, the rules for this game. The championship game is played to 15 points. That's the score cap. Halftime will be at 8 points when either team hits 8 points or the 55-minute mark. And the hard cap will be the 85-minute mark. Of course, as you saw earlier on, we still have, as I mentioned, an hour and 10 minutes remaining here in the hard cap time. One timeout per half. Each team gets a 90-second timeout. There's one floater timeout. No timeouts during the cap. So timeouts are limited, and once we hit the cap time, teams have to play it out. Let's say we're in a similar situation once again, Justin, where it's Universe Point. Teams are not allowed to have a timeout during that time.
Yes, if they call a timeout during that hard cap situation, I do believe it is a turnover, so that could be detrimental to their team.
Oh, it's just like I believe in the NBA, when you call a timeout, you actually get assessed a technical foul when you don't have any timeouts remaining. So you'll see here the disc ends up back at the far sideline, and we have some more onlookers from the other schools who are looking on.
I know a lot of options going on downfield. Might have to put it up.
And he does put it up. Here's a chance downfield, and that is incomplete. So close yet so far. However, the disc does end up hitting the field. We'll take a look at the replay right here. The long huck all the way downfield. The arms went up, but unfortunately for Burnaby South there, it was an incomplete pass. We'll see now as trying to go up is Burnaby South.
And a short field turn produced by Eric Hamber lets Burnaby South get, an end zone set going, and we see it in the hands of number 5, McCready, and he's been doing a lot of the heavy lifting for this Burnaby South team.
A shot there towards the end zone, and that is good. I'm trying to see if he was able to catch it or not. No, it's going to be a A turnover there once again as the layout catch is incomplete. We do have a player in some discomfort. Down go the players. And the coaches will go over and check here on the fallen player. Of course, the popular sideline here on the left side of the broadcast booth.
Yeah, it seems that all the players are sort of conglomerating over there. I'm getting a lot of stares from some of my kids I coach. And I'm sure some of them are begging me to say their name, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to give them. Maybe I'll say, hi, Ali. But focusing on the game right now, the player does seem to be standing up and does seem to be okay at least.
Safe to say you're a popular coach in your neck of the woods.
Sometimes I wish it was a little bit less popular. Sometimes these kids bother me too much. But I still love them, each and every one of them, most of the time.
So it does seem the player is okay. It's still a 2-1 lead here for Eric Camber over Burnaby South. And, well, looks like our producer was going to go over and make space, but nonetheless, play continues on. And an incomplete pass there. It's a turnover. Burnaby South will take possession here near center field. As off the possession, the disc is flipped forward. The two-hand clap catch is complete. It'll end up back out now to the far side. As it's moved across from the far side of the field, flipped up high. Ends up back to center field. And it's flipped forward. The two-handed clap catch is complete. The hammer throw is faked out. And Burnaby South send the disc to the end zone. That is going to be a complete score. As Burnaby South they've not tied the game yet. There's a dispute going on here.
And a goal is
they
confirmed.
are going to call it a goal after further review. 2-2 now the score. So Burnaby South have tied the game up at 2. You'll see the disc flip forward. And the great pass leads right into the end zone, where it is caught. The pass is complete, and it is a 2-2 score. As Hamber ties the game at 2 with Burnaby South. Or Burnaby South ties the game at 2 with Hamber.
And Burnaby South is going to be on defense right now, and they've been putting out a zone that has been pretty effective against this Eric Hamber team. This Eric Hamber team has lots of really talented handlers, so they're able to work it through. But just a couple moments of being less calm and being less strategic with the Frisbee, and you could have a turnover pretty fast. Lots of discipline is needed to break through a zone, especially at the highest level.
Of course, you'll see different matchups here depending on the gender ratio as well. And in a final game like this, I'd say so definitely, Justin, that it can really impact the strategy.
Yeah, this is just sort of like a chess match that goes on as the game continues. Everyone has to make adjustments. If you have a good strategy going and you get countered, you're going to have to come up with a new one to counter that counter. And it just keeps going on and on and on. And whichever coach can make the adjustments will come out victorious, most likely.
All the cameras are certainly out on both sides. We have the photographers here for the final game. And the photographers out in full force on both sides for both teams. Of course, you know, as an athlete, you know, you love getting your photo taken, doing what you love. And, you know, it helps to look back on those photos later on.
Yeah, definitely when I was a younger athlete, I loved getting my photo taken, but now I just want to focus on the sport, and now I sort of want to take photos myself.
Oh, there you go. So the Rain Cup has been returned to us here at the booth after the celebration from Point Grey Secondary.
And now Eric Hamber is sort of hoping to avenge their junior team right now and take home the championship trophy themselves.
There's the pull. Ends up right near center field. So Eric Hamber will take possession of the disc here. It's flipped forward now to the right wing side. Long throw attempt, rather, and that one is incomplete.
Just a little bit too far for Nichols right there. And the Eric Hamber thrower definitely wishes he had that one back.
Little straight up to start, straight up to start.
And so it looks like Burnaby South will take possession. So Burnaby South will resume with possession of the disc. Hands up back to the right side. Interception into the end zone. That will count as a score. It is going to be 3-2 for Eric Hamber.
And it seems that the Burnaby South players are a little confused about what's going on. That is called a Callahan, where the defensive team catches it in the other team's end zone. So there's no change of possession. It is immediately just a score.
That is incredible here. And not often do you see that in the sport of ultimate, I'm sure, Justin. But we just saw that right there. And a tough break there for Burnaby South. As we'll take a look at the replay right here. The pass attempt from Burnaby South as they tried to get their offense set, their offense going. They took a bit to get the disc away, and as they were trying to make the pass, the one-handed interception in the end zone counted as a score. It is 3-2 for Eric Hamber.
Yeah, Eric Hamber is sort of in the driving seat right now. Burnaby South, had a really good first point, but they have to play so many of the same players over and over again, and that fatigue is definitely getting to them, and they're going to have to make some adjustments to make sure that they can stay in this game and maybe make a late game push to take it home.
Well, especially in the senior division, as you know, Justin, zone defense is allowed. Foot blocks are allowed as well. How much of a difference does that make as opposed to the junior side of things?
Yeah, especially if you've been playing person defense the entire time. Just switching to zone really quick can put a little bit of a shock in an offensive line and can cause a couple short turnovers. And if they're not able to adjust fast enough and they can't get it through that zone, that could make Burnaby South run away with the game. But right now, they have to worry about offense first before they worry about defense.
Yeah, and of course, another rule is that players have to represent their own school. There can't be any pickups here in the school level. And I remember, Justin, earlier on in the day, you were telling me the story behind some players perhaps playing for their school when it came to the semifinals and even the city championships. But when it came to provincials, they were not allowed to play with that same school because of the BCSS regulations.
Yes, and are you going to focus on development or are you going to focus on victory? And right now, Burnaby South lets that pole get behind them.
And so pole ends up back up in the corner. And now you'll see immediately the feisty defense by the Eric Hamber secondary school players. Burnaby South able to move the disc upfield. Here's number 4, whom we saw play valuable minutes in the semifinal matchup. Disc is moved forward now to the far sideline. It'll come back across, now behind. The drop pass is good. Throw on the forehand, and that is caught with 2 hands at the sideline. Comes back out to number 2. She'll look to get the pass across, and that ends up still under the hands here of the Burnaby South Rebels. Moved back. The drop pass there is complete to number 4. He'll move it up to number 5. As the Rebels will move the ball downfield, and that is caught, but is it outside the line? That is the question. They're determining it. We'll take a look at the replay right here. As the 2 feet definitely landed, they're determining if it was a score or not.
The players are walking back, so I think it's going to be sent back to the original thrower.
And that indeed will be the case. So number 5 will begin with possession here. As we'll see the throw back downfield, it ends up now, the clock catch is completed. A good throw on the forehand, ends up right outside the end zone. They're in the red zone now. All they need is the short pass. Here's number 4. As he'll look to throw it to the end zone, that is caught just at the line. One more pass still required. And they're still outside the red zone here. Eric Hamber trying to utilize their defense. The clock catch right at the line. Thrown to the end zone. Oh, incomplete. Frustration from Burnaby South as they were so close to capitalizing there. It's still a 4-2 lead here, or a 3-2 lead for Eric Hamber as Burnaby South so close to equalizing the game. The disc will come back out now to the near side. Both teams looking for options as Eric Hamber trying to find options on offense while Burnaby South trying to find options on defense. A slight pass forward. Ends up back at the near side. Good throw on the forehand, ends up through to Yang. She'll send it upfield. Ends up back out down to the near side. Here's 32 for the Eric Hamber Secondary School. Good pass on the forehand, goes now under. As the underhand works the succession. Good flip up ahead. What a layout catch.
Great defense by number 4, but better offense by 88 there.
Incredible layout there. And we have a foul called.
I believe they might be calling stall down on the disc. I don't know who's having the discussion right now, but
yeah, it does seem to be
contested.
stalled down. Actually, I saw the tap of the head.
Contested coming in at stall 8.
Nice, yes, Sam. Great job, Sam.
And so Pratt has possession. He'll move it now to his right wing. 88 here for Eric Hamber, looking to move the disc upfield. Flips that forward to the end zone, and that is incomplete. Eric Hamber was ready to celebrate onto the field, but the pass ultimately is incomplete. Burnaby will take over. So the Rebels will bring the disc back downfield. As it will end up out to the near side. The Rebels still with possession of the disc. Moved upfield, flipped back across, now to the right side. As the throw comes through out to the far sideline. Now at center field. Rebels knock the disc back. Played forward to the center. Now back out to the near side.
And Burnaby South really needing to work for every single pass here. The Eric Hamber defense is stifling right now.
Disc moves forward out to the far side. Played back now to the far sideline. As it'll come back past the center field. Moved back out to the right wing. At the sideline. Disc comes back to the backhand. Good forehand throw there, just outside the red zone.
And a little bit messy. We see a lot of people attacking that front cone. There needs just to be one.
The overhand throw ends up back. The drop pass now on the underhand. Outside the red zone once again. Passes near the line. They'll send this to the end zone. The clap catch is complete. Incredible catch there as Burnaby South has tied the game at 3.
And McCready is doing so much for his team right now. Doing the main job of facilitating the disc and also putting the finishing touches and scoring with a beautiful layout here. We'll take a look at the replay.
Just what a pass upfield, and you'll see as well the pass out to the far side and then the great layout catch there with the two hands for Burnaby South, who have now tied the game at 3.
And Burnaby South does need to work really hard on their offense right now just to even gain a couple yards, but Eric Hamber seems to be having a little bit of an easier time. I wonder what adjustments the Burnaby South coaches are going to make to sort of stifle that Eric Hamber offense, because right now they seem unstoppable.
I'm going to ask you one thing, Justin. I know spirit of the game is a big part of the sport of Ultimate and how it constantly continues to grow. What can you say about the continued involvement of the spirit of the game?
Yeah, because this is a self-refereed sport, it is really important that all players sort of uphold that spirit that really makes the game run. And if a team or a couple players aren't able to uphold that spirit, it really just ruins the integrity of the game. So spirit of the game is super important at every single level of Ultimate.
All right, we shall get set here for the poll, as it will be Eric Hamber receiving. And right now we're seeing the 4-3 formation led by the males here for Burnaby South. And meanwhile for Eric Hamber.
Same thing, 4 men, 3 females.
Yes, very much. The same formation there as well.
We are seeing a couple familiar faces on the field too. Eric Hamber running their same usual lineup of Poon, I believe that is Bruzmina, Nichols, and well, Burnaby South is still running their same sort of handler core in number 4, number 5, and number 10. So a lot of familiar faces, and they've been playing well all day, and this is the game that matters most to each and every one of them.
It's been a incredible day of ultimate action here. Of course, the matchup for all the marbles, the championship in the senior A division. Oh, a long huck back, or long pull back down the other way, and that one ends up outside the playing field. So the disc will be thrown back in.
And it seems that Burnaby South is going to go with a little bit of a zone here, and let's see how they run this cup and seeing if they're able to stop, put a stop to Eric Hamber's offense here.
Poon able to come back out to the near side as he'll look to move the disc upfield. Here's Poon. Great throw on the underhand on the drop pass, able to get the pass to be completed. As the disc will come back out to the far side. Moved back at the far sideline. As it'll be flipped back to Poon, a diving clap catch, ends up successful on the layout.
Number 10 able to get a piece of that one.
Poon drops that one back, it ends up forward. Great flip of the disc here. Ends up back out now to the far side. As the disc will move back now past the red line. Comes back out to the near side. Flipped forward, and that is incomplete.
Just out of the hands of the receiver there for Eric Hamber, and Burnaby South zone proves to be pretty crucial and doing its job well. And now Burnaby South has time on offense, and let's see if they can get a break here and take the lead back.
So Burnaby South will look to move the disc upfield. They'll drop it back out now to the far side. As number 5 will receive possession here at the near side, looking for help. Uses the pivot foot, flips that one high up in the air. It's a long huck down the other way, and that is incomplete.
28 and 10 both going up for the disc there, and Eric Hamber getting the best of that matchup.
Take a look at the replay right there. The long huck was unsuccessful. So we will see now Eric Hamber have possession of the disc. The pivot foot, the disc is dropped back, and it's an incomplete pass as Burnaby South forces the turnover.
And Burnaby South with the short field turn. Let's see if they can capitalize on this one here.
As here is Burnaby South number 5. He'll drop it back to number 4. 4 at the far side off the swing pass. Flips it forward. Oh, almost
Great
intercepted, but great hands there by number 22 to keep play alive here for Burnaby South at the offensive end of the field. Here's number 5. He'll look for time and space to work with. Number 5 flips that one forward, ends up right to the end zone, and that is intercepted as Eric Hamber will take possession of the disc. They'll look to move downfield, back down the other way. Disc is dropped forward out to the far side. And you see the set defense here, and the clock catch is incomplete. The set defense, rather, of Burnaby South. As you'll see a look at the turnover there, which led to Eric Hamber trying to go down the other end of the field, but the set defense of Burnaby South paid off as they were able to set their defense and force the turnover, looking to get back the point here. Less than 50 minutes on the clock in this one. Should be approaching halftime here fairly soon as well. As disc will be thrown up the field, ends up back out of the near side, and this is the end zone, and it is incomplete.
Definitely
a fumbled catch.
Definitely wishes he had that one back there.
Very much, but as you can see with these teams, they waste no time getting their offense going right after the interceptions. As the disc will end up back out now to the far side. At the far side of the field, Poon flips it over. Ends up behind the line. As he'll look for options.
Hey, cup spacing, Logan, cup spacing.
Disc is moved upfield past the center line. Flipped forward now to the right side. Moves it up all the way down to the end zone, and that is caught! Great catch there. Eric Hamber up by 1.
Just out of the hands of number 4 there. and Nichols able to come down with it and secure the catch for Eric Hamber. That is a 1-point lead for them, and that must be a heartbreaking point for Burnaby South right now, knocking on the doorsteps and not able to punch it in.
Let's take a look at the replay right here, Justin. As you can see, the great movement of the disc. Great movement of the disc and the right cutter at the right time at the end zone, and it is a 4-3 lead for Eric Hamber over Burnaby South.
Yeah, just having the trust that your receiver's going to go get it, and that's what that Eric Hamber team has right now.
And so Eric Hamber now leading Burnaby South 4-3. And keep in mind, folks, as we mentioned, this game is 85 minutes as opposed to the normal 75 minutes. We shall take this chance to remind you that JointWorks helps athletes recover faster, move better, and perform at their peak with expert rehab and performance care. Learn more at jointworks.ca. If you were to pick standouts from both teams in this first half so far, Justin, who would it be?
Right now, for Burnaby South, it would definitely be number 5, Jaden McCready. He's been doing a lot of the heavy lifting, as I've said throughout this game. Really facilitating the disc, very steady hands, and sort of running the offense and defense for Burnaby South. If I were to choose Eric Hamber, it would definitely be probably Poon, number 28, and Nickel as sort of their two main deep receivers and main throwers in Poon and Nickel right there. Both of them played high-level club and, sort of just continuing that high-level streak and playing really high-level school ultimate and hoping to get a victory here.
Great picks, as they've had great games so far here in the first half, and of course as we approach halftime, there will be more and more, I guess you can say, more and more intensity on the field, as this game is a one-score game. That disc is flipped high up in the air, and it lands right in front of our broadcast location, back onto the field. And it ends up flipping down right in front of our broadcast location.
And here the Eric Hamber coach is yelling trap here.
So it looks like that is what they will try and do. So the stall count has started, as there's a great pass attempt there near the sideline, and that is flipped to the end zone, but it's incomplete. Burnaby South trying to be pretty fast with their offense there to no success, Justin, as it will be Eric Hamber disc.
Yeah, and I believe that's number 2, Pratt, picking up the disc. And also steady hands for Eric Hamber, and let's see what the D-line offense can do here.
And both teams have had their own success trying to move the disc quickly through their handlers, but it doesn't matter how you get it done, it matters that you get the job done. And for both of these teams here, it's a low-scoring affair so far. Eric Hamber 4, Burnaby South 3. Another turnover there, and the disc will go to Burnaby South. The fake on the underhand ultimately does get the drop pass through on the underhand. As the disc is flipped forward, ends up now to the right side.
Back in the hands of McCready. Definitely looking deep here, and I think he might launch it.
A long huck all the way down to the other end. Number 10's calling for it. Number 10 has it! Incredible catch in the end zone, and Burnaby South have tied the game at 4.
Lots of big plays on both teams there. The huck game is definitely open, and both teams are cashing in right now.
A long huck all the way downfield. And number 10, the cutter, knew he had to get to the end zone in time to complete the play. And that is exactly what he does. He goes all the way to the end zone, completes the catch with the 2 hands, and Burnaby South have tied the game up at 4.
Now both teams are just punching each other back and forth, and so far not a single team is able to sort of break away. And right now both teams are playing high-level offense and high-level defense, and right now it's whatever team is deciding to take that one extra step and really push forward.
4-4 the score with less than 45 minutes on the clock, as it will be now the turn of Burnaby South to throw the pull. Eric Hamber will receive it. And as we made mention, it's been a strong half from a lot of these players. Justin, you talked about, is there any player that you would like to keep your eye on for the second half of this game?
Yeah, right now, other than the players we listed beforehand, sort of the other players on Burnaby South that are doing heavy lifting, number 11 and number 4, sort of understated in the fact that they're also doing a lot of the heavy lifting for the handler situation. They are distributing the disc as well. And while sort of the backs are on number 5, if number 11 and number 4 are able to sort of pick up a lot more of the weight and help him out, they could very well be stars in this game as well. Eric Hamber, I got to shout out one of my own kids, Buzmina, number 4. He's been playing excellent, and he has developed really well into a very strong player. And if he's able to sort of take over this game, he is a force to be reckoned with as well.
How long have you been coaching him for?
About a year now, a year and a half. I coached him last summer. I believe that was his first or second year playing Ultimate, and he came from a big soccer background, and soccer players can run forever, so
especially on fields like these.
Especially on fields like these, so he has a workhorse, and he's able to just keep running forever.
We have chats going on both sides now. As now it will be Eric Hamber taking possession of the disc near the sideline. And they are currently tied at 4 as Burnaby South recently tied the game at 4. Eric Hamber able to tap the disc in. Poon will move it up to center field. It ends up going through now to the far sideline. As possession is thrown to the end zone. Near the end zone line. One more pass is all it takes, and that is incomplete.
Just a little bit too short for Nickel there, and then she was not able to get that catch. A little bit more in front, or the throw coming a bit earlier, and that's for sure a goal for Eric Hamber.
Yeah, you take a look at the replay right there, just a bobble disc. I think partly credit there to the Burnaby South defense getting back and kind of disrupting the momentum of the disc with the left hand. So now you'll see number 10 get it back here for Burnaby South. As we approach near 5 o'clock local time, you can start to sense the breeze playing a bit of a factor too. It settled down for some time during the afternoon. It was there in the morning as well, Justin, but definitely back now.
Yes, and this breeze might play a factor into the game. The wind does affect the disc a lot, and if you're not a skilled thrower.
Here's a long huck back the other way. You talk about skilled throwers, and that is incomplete.
Maybe the wind played a bit of a factor there, or maybe just a little bit of a misjudgment on the throw and the execution, but right now it's in Eric Hamber hands, and they have to work the full 80 yards right now.
And so the disc will come out now to the far corner as it's played back past the sideline. They'll look to move the disc out to Poon as he'll get it to Hoy. She'll look for an open lane, sends it out to the right side. Eric Hammer trying to move the disc upfield. It ends up back at the sideline. Moved across, now down the other way. Here's a chance in the end zone, and that is caught. Incredible catch once again in a game full of incredible catches. Eric Hamber retakes the lead 5-4.
So much pressure on every single pass and needing to lay it down all on the line just to even get a singular point.
Another look at the replay there. Just the long huck, able to get the pass through, and the layout catches have been there in this one, Justin.
Yeah, if there's any time to throw your body around, now is the time. In this championship final, what more can you ask for?
Safe to say it's simply the case of now or never. And I assume that the next tournament for a lot of these players won't be for another couple of weeks or so their bodies will have time to rest.
Yes, I believe the next tournament will be Vikings Valhalla in a couple weeks, so these players on both sides have nothing else to lose. They just got to put it all out and play their heart out and hopefully come home with the trophy.
And so both coaches now talking to their respective teams. And as we made mention, timeouts are definitely limited to both of these teams as well. Now, we've seen the good layout catches, but we've also seen a couple of miscommunications on the defensive side of the disc too. Both as a player and now as a coach for yourself, when miscommunications like that happen all of a sudden in the middle of a game, how do you sort of rectify those, and how do you, as a coach, how do you get your players on the same page? And then as a player, what's the best solution to get on the same page as your teammates?
Yeah, sometimes a lot of these miscommunications just come from overthinking, trying to do a little bit more than you're used to. If you just practice the way you play, or you play the way you practice and you just stay within your bounds, you can expect a lot of good things to come up. But when you start doing stuff that's a little bit too fancy, trying to make a couple of extra moves by, trying to entertain the crowd, that's when these mistakes occur. And you just got to play the way you practice every single time.
Oh, that is fair enough. I think that goes for anything too. Sometimes you'll think that you'd rather think that the level you can play at is here, but your confidence is at an all-time high. You have to stick to the level that you can play at, and that will mark as the best confidence builder.
And right now we see it in the hands of number 4 and number 5, who I don't think have taken time off the field yet, so definitely using all the willpower to keep going.
Yeah, good give and go as number 6 will receive possession of the disc. As she'll move it over out to the far side. Knocks that one back to number 10. Number 10 will have possession, moves it out to the right side. Here's number 5. Number 5 has possession of the disc. It ends up back at the sideline. Long huck towards the end zone. This one's got a chance and it's caught. But looks like it was out of bounds when the catch did happen. So by the looks of it, this won't count. There is a dispute going on though. They very well may just go back and return the sender and replay the point, but looking as the situation is going on now, it's still a 5-4 score as we speak.
Yeah, knowing what's usually going to happen is it's going to be sent back, and McCready is only going to have 2 stalls to get the throw off, and we're not seeing a lot of options for him, and that's really frustrating as a handler when you're looking for something upfield and nothing comes. So McCready, you're going to have 2 seconds to make a really good decision here, or else you might go a bit further down in the game.
And so we will see the replay of the point, and as you made mention, 2 counts remaining on the stall count. Gets the pass across. As number 4 will drop it back to McCready at the far sideline.
And not a lot of options again, but manages to get it off the sideline.
Still gets the drop pass through at the right wing. Goes on the clap catch and ends up back to the sideline. That's thrown to the end zone at the line. As they'll flip it back. The pivot foot still established, and Burnaby just trying to do their best to get this to the end zone. The one-handed catch ends up through, and that will be a score. Burnaby South has tied the game at 5.
McCready's defender just taking a couple too many steps trying to defend that backfield, but McCready has the presence of mind to just drive the line and score right away.
So that is the 5th score of the game. We're approaching 35.5 minutes remaining in this one. We'll take a look at the replay once again. A great movement of the disc here by Burnaby South as they're able to get that through to the end zone for the score. And it is 5-5 in this Senior A Division final. Still lots of time remaining in this one. As 35-13 remains on the clock, the teams gathered around. We shall remind you that London Pub is Main Street's go-to spots for sports, bar games, and team hangouts. Check them out at londonpubvan.com. You can find them at 700 Main Street in Vancouver. Thank you to London Pub Vancouver for their support of today's proceedings.
5-5, all tied up right now, and it's a very exciting championship final. No team has been able to break away, and right now, I do think that Burnaby South does have to work a lot harder for their goals, but they're still hanging in there. And one small turn for Eric Hamber, and Burnaby South could take momentum, or if the game continues how it goes, I think Eric Hamber will take it away. So Burnaby South has to make a small adjustment here to become victorious.
34-20 are the 34-20 is the time remaining on the clock. And for the Burnaby South Rebels, a chance for them, as you talked about. You talked about earlier on a chance for them to walk away with a championship here. And for Eric Hamber, you know that they definitely have vengeance on their mind, considering they lost the junior championship not too long ago to Point Grey. And that was a tough loss for them too, that came in the final moments of the game.
Yeah, instead of just talking about these two teams here, most people expected Eric Hamber to be in the finals, but not many expected Burnaby South to make it this far. Sort of like a program that's been on the come up, and now they are sort of blossoming into their full potential. And a win here would do a lot of confidence for these players to know that they can compete even at the highest level.
And so we will see the pull here. Chants are going on here from the Burnaby South side of things. A long pull all the way down the other end. Lots of elevation on that one there. And it falls back now, right at the line. Disc is moved over at the far corner. Dropped back out to the far sideline. As it's moved past the far corner once again.
Queen right now looking for a deeper option, signaling his mids that he wants it deeper.
Oh, what a catch there by Eric Hamber's number 4. Yeah, she's able to get the catch across. It'll come back down the near side once again. Moves it back to the side of the circle. As it moves past now to near the end zone. Disc is flipped forward and caught. There is a dispute on the play, however. Seems to be a dispute here of some sorts. They will replay the point. They'll look to flip that into the end zone, and that is caught. Eric Hamber on the board once again. It is 6-5. So 6-5 is the score.
And I believe that should be halftime for the two teams here.
And I do agree with you as well. The teams will take out to the field and coaches will talk things over. With that, we'll step aside. You're watching the 2026 Rain Invite on TrickShotLive.com. Well, Justin, doesn't seem like we're at halftime quite yet with the timing so far.
Yeah, the game started 5 minutes late, so halftime is going to be pushed 5 minutes later. And right now it's still a 6-5 lead for Eric Hamber. And Burnaby South needs to score this point or else they're going to go further down after halftime.
And with that, again, still a 6-5 score here. Hamber leading Burnaby South. There's the long pull back the other direction, and this one will flip up high and settle down at the far sideline. And so we shall see the Burnaby South Rebels begin their offense here. Good movement of the disc. It ends up out to the far side. Flipped forward. Now past the center line. As number 4 is able to get the pass across to number 5. Back for number 4. Moved back now near the end zone, and that is incomplete. So an incomplete pass there. As the disc will end up back here into the hands of Atkinson. Atkinson will move it back out now to the far side. Moved back across. As at the near side, both teams looking for options. Disc is flipped forward and it's caught. Moved past the right wing side, and we do have a player who went down, but he's able to get back up and fire, rapid fire succession. Burnaby South will take possession at the near side. Moves it all the way down to the other end, and the one-handed catch is incomplete there. As both teams getting opportunities, but both teams, in the words of the coach, having to work for those opportunities and work for the score. As here comes Eric Hamber, they'll gain possession at the near side. Nickel stepped back. She'll play the disc in, moves it back to Atkinson. Atkinson flips it forward to Nickel at the end zone, and that ends up right at the line. She'll look to flip it one more time, perhaps flips it to the end zone, and that is caught. But we do have the call disputed here, though. Might have been out of bounds.
Not really sure what's going on here, but more reenactments of the play, which is standard with any call. But imaginably, if it's been going like it's been going this game, it's going to be sent back.
So we'll see what the call is made here. It's starting to get a lot more chillier out here, at least, once again. So
Hey, Charlie, clear.
you see
Kieran
Nickel
in.
at
Charlie,
the
clear.
line.
Kieran in.
As she is still awaiting the resumption of play. So now the disc will be brought back into play. It's flipped forward and it's caught. And that is going to be a point here for Burnaby South as they will, or for Hammer, they will go and celebrate. They are up 7-5 over Burnaby South. And I think that will take us to our halftime. We'll have another look at the score here once again, as that ended up going behind to the end zone. And it will take us to our time. 2026 rain invite action continues on trickshotlive.com right after this. All right, here we go. The huck, or the pull, all the way down to the other end, and we are off and underway as Hamburg will take possession here. 7-5 the score. And this one, in every possession, becoming also more critical as Hamburg will move the disc down the near sideline. Great throw on the underhand there as they'll move the disc up. Near sideline, the overhand gets through to Poon. Poon looks for time and space, sends the disc out down to the far side, flips it forward. A great one-handed catch, sort of a Superman jump there. It's dropped back to Poon, goes down to the underhand, still gets the pass across, stays in bounds with the one leg there rather. The right leg that is, as Hamburg looks to capitalize. They'll flip it up high out in the air. The clap catch is complete from Poon. He'll send it back to the end zone, and that is caught. The two-handed clap catch is good. 8-5 for Eric Hamburg.
Just an absolute isolation masterclass between Poon and Buzmina there. Those two just absolutely working that small side of the field and able to punch it in really well.
And for Eric Hamburg to come out like that after the half, that's a good sign for that group, as they're now up by 3, the largest lead of this game.
Yeah, Eric Hamburg was sort of applying the pressure, and now they are fully on the gas. And I wonder what Burnaby South is going to do to, catch up. They're going to need some sort of big momentum, some big play to really get their team riled up and ready to play more Frisbee. They don't have a lot of time anymore. They only have 20 minutes, and while it does seem like a lot, that time can whittle down quite fast.
But also, Justin, we've sort of gotten to that point of the day where the legs, the fatigue, the mental fatigue is starting to catch up.
Exactly. McCready has been playing almost every single point in this game here and his previous game, so he is definitely very tired, as well as number 9 and number 6 on Burnaby South. So they're running the same 8 to 10 players to the ground. Right now, it is all heart, right? It's all heart, and they just have to keep playing and trying to make plays when they don't have the energy to do so.
And from your standpoint, how much does mental fatigue play a factor, especially in these games that are later in the day and the last games of the day?
Especially when it's the championship game, if you find yourself falling behind, every single little mistake or every single thing that goes wrong does sort of stack up and weigh, and that creates the big mistakes that can cause your team to lose points or even games. So just that mental fortitude is needed to stay strong and to just push through no matter what goes on.
And so it seems like that Burnaby South is ready to throw the pull, or rather Eric Hamburg threw the pull there, and Burnaby South is ready to receive the pull as they'll get their offense going. Disc is thrown back to center field as they'll look for the underhand throw. That is complete. Disc is moved back at the near sideline. Moved back across. Now at the near side, looking for options. Disc is dropped back. Back out of the near side. A two-handed catch in the air is good. Flipped forward out to the near side. At the sideline, disc is thrown forward. They'll aim for the end zone. Here's the chance for number 9. She catches it, and that is caught. Back-to-back points here, 1 per side. And Burnaby South has number 6 on the board. It is 8-6.
A 2-point gap is quite small, and if they're able to turn it around on this point, they might carry the momentum on and tie the game up. We'll take another glance here at this point. Number 10 with excellent throwing choice and able to just put enough touch on it, where number 9 is able to just come down with it. A very, very routine throw, but very hard to do and execute well.
So the pass attempt there will work to complete succession. And now for Burnaby South, only trailing by 2 once again. It's important for them to defensively try and get a stop and cut the deficit to 1 here in the next few minutes.
Yeah, and they look gassed right now. Hands are on the knees. They are very, very tired, and it's all hard from here.
I mean, same can be said about both of these teams. Obviously very tired in their own rights, and takes a lot, both, as I said, physically, but also mentally as well. The mental fatigue certainly a part of the game.
And let's see what sort of adjustment Burnaby South is going to make. Are they still going to apply that zone that's proved to be working but is a little bit more tiring? Or are they going to put on something a little bit tricky and try to get a quick turn here? This point would be very crucial for Burnaby South's comeback attempt here.
So it looks like Burnaby South is ready to throw the pull, and Eric Hamber is ready to receive. Of course, both of the last times that there has been a pull, both teams have scored on the ensuing possession. No break points required there.
Great pull.
A great pull there, lands them in the end zone. It'll come back out now to the near side, as Hamber will try and get something to go. A great interception there, courtesy of number 5. He is fired up.
Timeout
called.
And it seems he decided to go person there, and McCready was able to get a very quick D.
And so, as you were saying earlier on, the fatigue starting to set in, and of course, that is not that horn does not apply to us. I believe that applies to all the other games going in and around.
And there's 15 more minutes left in our clock, and our game ends at 5:30 p.m. local time.
And it is still 5:15, so still some time remaining. Of course, we did start late as well. We started at 4:05 p.m., so our game will not end until 5:30. And with Burnaby South calling that timeout, I mean, you noted it earlier, there was some physical fatigue immediately when they got the interception there and got the disc that deep into the offensive end. They knew they had to call timeout and be as fueled and ready as possible.
Yeah, if they are able to punch this one, it only becomes a one-point game, and when the game is that close, you sort of start ignoring the fatigue and the tiredness you feel, and you just start sort of pushing with whatever willpower you have left. Let's see what sort of strategy Burnaby South comes up with here to sort of punch it in. They are quite close to the end zone. I do think it's going to isolate McCready and perhaps another player, but I don't believe McCready and number 9 on Burnaby South are guardable, and if they can just run the isolation between those two, I do think they can punch in a goal here.
And so it will be Burnaby South with possession here. And the Eric Hamber Griffins, I believe that is their mascot.
Eric Hamber Griffins, that is correct.
The Griffins and the Rebels. I don't think there's a hockey team with the title Griffins, so I don't have one there for you there, but the Rebels, of course, Red Deer. So we will have possession here for Burnaby South off the timeout.
And we see Poon marking up against McCready here, an excellent matchup. And then we see number 41 and number 4 in the backcourt. And we'll see what sort of isolation play they're running here.
All right, here we go. As number 5 has possession of the disc, he'll flip it forward out to the near sideline. That is thrown near the end zone. As they will drop it back past the near sideline. Flip forward, what a catch! Incredible catch there by number 5. As I believe that is McCready who got the catch there. Number 8 has possession at the near sideline. He'll look for options, flips it forward, ends up back to number 4, and we do have a contest here. And it comes back out to the near sideline. Number 10 has possession of the disc. He'll utilize the pivot foot, plays it forward, down to number 4.
Number 4 surveying the field, looking for any option.
Yeah, trying to find options here, and a collision there causes the turnover, and it will be Eric Hamber's disc. As the Griffins will look to push up. Longhawk heading downfield. Here's a chance for Nickel, but she is well short, and that is incomplete.
And we see the head sort of down for Burnaby South. They did just get a turnover, but sort of squandering that short field opportunity must be rough, and now they got to work it all the way back again.
Oh, it is tiring for sure, and of course, I believe this is the only game still going on our field now, as all other brackets have wrapped up. Haven't gotten the results from the Senior B final yet between Delta and Mosscrop. It does seem like Delta did win. So we do have a final result there, and now this is the only game remaining on our schedule.
But a straight throw across is fine.
So everyone's focus turned here As there's the chance now for Burnaby South. They'll look to
Yeah, now close it down,
get the
bro. Close
disc
it down.
upfield, comes back out to the near side. As number 9 has possession, she'll go for the underhand, plays it over to the far side. That is complete. As on the forehand, and a pass there. Oh, an interception there, albeit it being inadvertently. Eric Hamber causes the disruption, and they'll take over.
Eric Hamber now has their own short field opportunity to punch it in and extend the game lead to 3.
This goes on the forehand, and that is caught at the line as it'll come back to Poon. Poon back at the line, flips it forward, and that is near the end zone, but not at the end zone.
Called not in, so knocking on the doorstep right now.
Yeah, they'll have a chance here to bring it in, and that is incomplete. And those are the worst types of feelings when you come so close. This is not the worst type of feeling, though, as number 10 reaches up for it. Oh, what a catch! Incredible effort there by number 10 of Burnaby South. And they are going to call timeout here.
And that is their second timeout at the half. They do have a floater that they are allowed to use.
They do have a floater, that is correct. They have the floater timeout. That's what they're trying to figure out here.
It seems that the commentary team is the only one that knows that they have a timeout.
Seems like the commentary team's the only one that's read the rule book.
Oh, indeed. And look at that. The commentary team, never wrong.
Never wrong at all. They do have the timeout. As this gives us a chance to tell you about more of our sponsors who have made today's broadcast possible. As we will like to thank our friends at Friction Gloves. Friction Gloves are designed to improve your throws and catches in any weather. Elevate your game at frictiongloves.com. Special thank you to Friction Gloves for being a proud supporter of today's broadcast.
Now, an incredible grab by that number 10, not only being able to get into that box position, but able to come down with that second chance attempt to keep his team alive in the game. They have another short field turn, and they need to cherish it, or else they are going to run out of time in this game.
8.5 minutes and counting remaining here in this one. 8-6 the score for Eric Hamber, and if you're Hamber, you'll live with that score, but if you're in Burnaby South, you definitely want to turn up the intensity here as time is becoming of essence.
And the depth of the Eric Hamber squad right now is proving to be really crucial in these last minutes of the games. They do seem tired, but they are definitely less tired than this Burnaby South team. And right now, Burnaby South team is just pulling ever so desperately and trying to stay in the game and maybe trying to make a last-minute push.
And so we shall see Burnaby South after their timeout. Again, in your words here, Justin, knocking right at the doorstep.
Indeed, and last time they were in this situation, McCready was sort of in the back of the stack resting, and now he's in a more active position, so we'll see if he is going to, apply the finishing touches to this goal, whether he's going to be scoring or assisting, or whether or not Eric Hamber is going to have another chance to extend that lead.
And so it will be Burnaby South with possession here, as number 10 will begin with possession of the disc. At the disc, he'll go to the forehand, or trying to go to the forehand. This is to the end zone, and that is incomplete. Again, the worst feeling in the world is right there, Justin. You're right at the doorstep, but you can't open the door.
And Eric Hamber ran away with it in the time that Burnaby South was a little bit sad about the turnover, and they just gained an extra 20 yards. You got to play defense right away.
And now Eric Hamber completing the catches upfield as they'll come back out to the near side. Good low underhand throw. At the near side, the fake, the throw. Poon stepped out of bounds, but they will say he was in bounds when he collected the disc. Poon now to the far side. Here's Nickel. Nickel has possession. She'll drop it back. As Poon gets it right back, moves back to the forehand, and that is incomplete. Burnaby South now will look to head back the other way. Player seems to be okay. She's experiencing some discomfort.
something being called? Nope. Disc is live.
It is live indeed.
Logan tighter. Logan tighter.
As we'll see the pass over. Out to the right side.
Far side now. Brooklyn.
Swing gets through out to the far side once
Yeah,
again.
Matt, great job, Matt. Matt, tight. Matt, tight.
Looking for options. Nothing's coming up.
Billy's coming.
Again, she'll flip it high up in the air, and a great catch there by number 4.
Yeah, you're good there, Izzy. You're good there, Izzy.
As the double-handed clap catch now will be complete.
And now
Comes back at the right side.
Coming across, coming across, coming across.
As it ends up back to the side of the field,
Nice
moved
work,
back
Logan.
across
Nice
out to
work,
the far
Logan. Great
side.
team, Logan.
Worked back across.
we're seeing a couple of different handlers in the backfield right now, number 8 and number 6. Usually not the people around the disc, but right now they're doing a fantastic job distributing.
Disc will end up now to the right side here. 5 minutes to go in the clock until the hard cap.
Yeah, Izzy, good job, Izzy, good job, Izzy.
As number 4 has possession, he'll move it out to number 10. Looking for time and space. A long huck back downfield. Here's a chance. Number 5 calling for it, and that is incomplete. A great catch by Poon. And Eric Hamber gets the defensive stop there. No time wasted going back upfield, and that is incomplete. Burnaby South will take over. And a must score here for Burnaby South, it feels like, with time becoming of essence.
And the fatigue is evident right now in the Burnaby South players, and they just need to push through.
And that, once again, is incomplete. To your point there, Justin, the fatigue certainly playing a factor. The throw on the underhand is good. The fake on the underhand, and now the throw on the underhand, that clap catch is complete. Hoy has possession at the near side. Hoy looks to step through, gets it off for Poon. Poon called for the travel. Disc is back in live action. Comes back out to the left side. As the underhand throw is good for Hoy. Hoy has possession to the end zone. The clap catch is complete. That won't count, but this will count to the end zone. The score is good. 9-6 for Eric Hamber, and they can feel it.
Excellent throw by Hoy there to just absolutely dice up the defense, throwing that nice calm inside and really opening up everything. We'll see a replay of it here. This gets to Hoy. A little bit of an upfield cut, just throwing it just inside of 2 Burnaby South defenders there. And that was able to just sort of get an open lane for the final score there. And Burnaby South is running out of time, and they're definitely feeling it. They would need a miracle right now to come back in this game.
And so Eric Hamber can certainly feel that they are on the cusp of winning the Rain Invite of 2026 in the seniors division. And we see some of the teams. We see the team on the far side. I believe that is Van Tech watching on.
Every single game has finished, so the only game going on right now is the championship final. And as the games wrap up, more and more spectators are going to fill this field, and who knows what's going to happen at the end.
Well, it's good to have a crowd. I think it's nice when you have a crowd supporting, and especially for a game of this magnitude, it gives the players a lot more confidence too to play in front of a crowd. Definitely
fun to see some of your friends or teammates just watching from the sideline, and sort of makes you want to play a little bit harder, even though you've been already playing your hardest.
Time becoming of essence here as we have 2:05 remaining on our clock, and approaching 5:30 local time here. So a couple of changes made to the roster there, and for Eric Hamber now up by 3. Question is, Justin, was that last score the dagger?
There's still a little bit of time, and if Burnaby South is able to punch in a couple fast ones, don't say it's over yet, but they need to go quick. They need to go quick.
So Burnaby South ready for the pull. And Eric Hamber ready to oblige there. As here comes the pull. A long pull all the way downfield, and that ends up near the end zone. As Burnaby South has to go, and I think they realize that. Throw is The disc is thrown
McCready's
forward.
going.
There's a chance. McCready's rushing all the way downfield. He has to complete it, and he does. Ends up at the end of the field. Throws it forward, and that is incomplete. And Eric Hamber can feel it. And what was a must score for Burnaby South, Eric Hamber able to get back, and even while McCready was chasing right towards the end zone, Eric Hamber able to get back successfully and get the defensive stop.
And that Hamber sideline is going absolutely ballistic right now. They can feel it in the air, and the air right now is a championship victory for them.
As the disc is thrown forward, it ends up back at the right side. Atkinson will move it back and to the right wing. As we get closer and closer, Atkinson will have it back at the right side. There's the horn, and we have one final score remaining.
And this will be the last point in the championship final at Rain Invite 2026.
This will be the last point of Rain 2026, as it's all but confirmed. It's all academic now. Eric Hamber will win the Senior A division. An incomplete pass there.
McCready's gone again.
As McCready's going to go all the way down to the end zone, as that one will come back out, and it will be an incomplete pass. So, looks like Eric Hamber will take the disc downfield.
And we got Price Patel picking up the disc here, also another one of the kids I've coached. Steady handler into the hands of Atkinson.
And he'll move it back downfield as it ends up across. Now drop back. Moved out to the near side for Pratt. Pratt looking for time and space, completes the double-handed clap catch. As the disc will be moved back out of the near side, that is incomplete. And so we'll now see.
And no mark on 21 yet.
Now we'll see Burnaby South try and move the disc upfield. See two guys on McCready. As it will come back down the near side, move forward, and you can tell McCready is just absolutely exhausted. He gave everything he had for his team here today, and unfortunately for him, it won't be enough to win the tournament. But nothing to be ashamed of for him and his performance here today. As that pass is dropped, Eric Hamber's sideline loves it. And they're going to try the long huck all the way now to the end zone, and that is incomplete. A good sign for Burnaby South, and all the Eric Hamber players looking at it like, hey, you could have let us have that one so we can both go home.
But McCready, even when this point technically doesn't matter, he's still putting out all his effort, and you got to respect that as a spectator.
They're looking for the long huck there, but even look at Eric Hamber. They're playing the feisty defense right up. As the disc will come back to the near side, this is to the end zone. That is going to the end zone, and that is caught. As I believe they may say that was out of bounds. They are contesting it. And she's saying no, it was in bounds, so we'll see what the call is going to be. They'll drop the disc there. And
I think they're calling it in.
They might be calling it in here, and with that being called in, it will result in Eric Hamber clinching the 2026 Rain Invite Championship in the Senior A division, as they will all greet one another. Congratulations to the students of Eric Hamber, and congratulations to these players who played a hard-fought tournament and end up walking away with a championship. Your final thoughts, Justin?
Excellent game played by both teams. The depth of Eric Hamber did get the best of the star power of Burnaby South, but lots of good things happening on this Burnaby South roster, and I'm sure they'll meet each other again at provincials, and maybe the result's the same, maybe the result's different, but we'll have to find out in a couple months.
Well, Justin, a pleasure as always getting to call this great sport of ultimate with you. Thank you to Theo for all his great work on the producer's chair, to Matthew on camera, As it's been a long day, 6 games in the books for us here at Trickshot Live. You can catch the replays of these at the Trickshot YouTube channel or at trickshotlive.com. For all of us here in Richmond, this has been the 2026 Rain Invite presented by Vancouver Ultimate. Start playing today at VUL.ca. Special thanks to VC Ultimate and the City of Richmond for helping make today happen. Once again, for all of us here in Richmond, BC, this is your Garage Lolly saying so long. We'll talk to you again next time when more Ultimate action returns to trickshotlive.com.